Stupid back. Well, hey, it's 7 o'clock, so let's start the show. How's it going? Good to see you. You missed the Weather Channel, huh? Well, okay then. It's good to see you guys. Welcome to Order 42. I'm Rob, and this is the show. And we're going to do something a little different tonight, okay? We're going to do the news first, so that people that click on the stream because of the title, they can actually hear the news before, 2.5 hours in. But I do want to say hello to everybody in chat. Of course, we've got Justin coming in first. The champion has returned. There you go. Justin's first. Rufus apparently was second. And then in Jinsu. And yeah, we do have a poll going on right now. Which one? Do you want the baker's berry, the blueberry pie? Or do you want the strawberry donut? Which one? And that's the thing. I got to figure out what I'm going to do about liquid, because those are my last 2 bottles of store-bought. Yeah, I could probably mix something, but in fact, I might do that. I might try to find a couple of recipes that I can make and then have you guys pick. Anyway, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out later. But welcome Ninjinzu. Cosma is here. Just watch a Rufus video again. Stream is starting soon. Hey, the stream has started. The stream has started. So yeah. And there's Justin again. Did someone say champion? Well, there you go. Boobberry. Boobberry? That should be enough to get the win. And there's Ricky saying, I'm bored. Hurry up and start. Go. Well, sorry. I'm sorry. Mr. Order 42, I have a question for you. Thoughts on the werewolf trailer? I'll log back in an hour to hear your answer. Well, here's my answer really quick. My answer is I'm very excited. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. Pretty much anything Robert Eggers does, I'm down for. It's just that's just the way it's going to be. I'm into Robert Eggers. I'm into his style and all that stuff. Now, some of his movies work better than others. I still contend that With the Witch is his best movie. It's the movie that works the best for me. It's not trying to be anything else, if that makes sense. The Lighthouse is good. The Northman is good. All of these movies are good. The only one I can honestly say I did not really care for was Nosferatu. Or Nosferatu. Whatever. I just wasn't a big fan of, I love the look of it. The cinematography is, for the most part, pretty good. But my thing with that one is that it seemed almost intentionally slow. Like, some of those pans were so slow, like painfully slow, that it was too much for me. But anyway, I'm still excited for Werewolf. I'm excited. And look, there's Bucho. I posted this at 9:47 DFW time. No, you did not. Look, I have the world clock up on my computer now. So I can tell it's only 12 o'clock. Well, 12:03 in Auckland right now. And it's only 7:03 p.m. Yesterday, I guess. Because of course it's 12:03 p.m. tomorrow. The July 8th in Auckland right now. So just, y'all chill out. Look, I know we get behind and all that kind of stuff, and that's kind of a thing. But like I said, I think that we ought to do the news first. And that way, if people come into the chat or come into they click on the video and they're like, hey, I kind of wonder if people should worry if you're a movie fan about Sony's announcement. Maybe we should get into that first. Or not first, but kind of in the news. So we're going to do the news first. Then we're going to get caught up. And we're going to do the liquid polls and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll go into stuff that I've been watching. And, we can chat about what you've been watching as well. So, Stupid Back 42. I know. That's pretty much what it's been lately. But with the good thing is I found some YouTube videos that were kind of like, hey, do this to kind of stretch things. And those have kind of helped. But I did the whole what do you call it? The whole physical therapy thing today. And hey, seems to be working, but I don't know. We'll see. I will see. Enough raw berries. Hey, look, I'm a big strawberry fan, especially in vape form. So, hey, get off my back. Get off my back. I'm just kidding. You can stay on my back. It's fine. But yeah. Everybody saying hi to Bucho, BP, and mother effing Hizzy. Gangsta Kiwi. That's right. And Lou, welcome. Welcome. He says, I'd like to start this off by saying F Sony. I like to actually own the things I buy. We'll talk about it. We will talk about that. But I will say before we even get into it, I will say this. I am not what you would consider to be a gamer. I am looking at this as a movie fan. Okay. So I own a PS5. I own physical games. I own I own some of that stuff. I own a bunch of digital games, but I want to talk about from the perspective of a movie guy, what this means and if it means anything, but we'll talk about that. After the announcement, I'm sure used physical media stores will be booming and prices going up. Ninjitsu, that is definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Raw berries? Yes. Rob berries? Yes. 90% of my vape flavors have strawberry. I know. Now, I will say that from time to time, I'm like, okay, let's knock it off on the strawberry. And I like blueberry. And I like banana. And I like, this and that. But for the most part, yeah, there's a lot of strawberry in my stuff. So there you go. We are caught up in the chat. So let's get into some of the news. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I refresh the chat, and guess what? I have a way for me to quickly look and see where we are in the chat. So hey, it's already working. But yeah, if you're here for some of the news, here we go. The first thing that I want to point out is I have to apologize. I apologize for not letting you know about this sooner. But Citizen Kane is celebrating its 85th anniversary. And if you want to see Citizen Kane, you still have one day to see it. It is going to be playing tomorrow, July 8th, in local theaters via Fathom Entertainment. Now, I don't know if you've ever done a Fathom thing, but Fathom is actually kind of a cool thing that a lot of the theater chains do, where it's basically, hey, we're going to play some classic movies or some older films or some re-released films or whatever. Sometimes they do concerts, they do all kinds of stuff. But I do like the fact that I can go see tomorrow. I can go see Citizen Kane in the theater. It's one of my favorite classic movies. It's not one of my favorites, but it is one of those where to be able to see this on the big screen is going to be kind of impressive and kind of cool. So I'm excited for tomorrow. I am going to go see it. I may even do a review on it. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. Because I might come out of it and go, yeah, it was Citizen Kane on the big screen. But I can almost guarantee you that I'm going to notice things that I'd never seen before. And I've seen this movie at least 5 times. And I saw it twice recently. Like, pretty recently. So, anyway. Citizen Kane, 85th anniversary. Kind of impressive. Kind of insane that it's that old. And it's still, it's still it broke a lot of rules about cinema. And it's actually Robert Meyer Burnett that said this, that you have to visit movies at scale, right? And you have to think. You have to think.
Here's a test seeing if it still works.
It does still work, Ricky. And thank you. Thank you for that $2 super chat. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. But what I was saying is visit it at scale. Okay? Visit a movie at scale. So this movie came out in 1941. So you can't look at it and say, oh, where's all the CG? Oh, where's all the, you have to put yourself in the mindset that this is 1941. Let's watch this movie. And it's kind of nuts when you watch Citizen Kane how many very, very modern filming techniques and editing techniques that he used. It's an impressive movie. You know, you may not like the movie, and that's fine, but it is an impressive movie. Now, I do want to bring to your attention a couple of other upcoming movies coming to Fathom Entertainment, which means that it should be coming to your theater near you. So maybe some movies that you might want to see in the theater, maybe for the first time. Number one, July 26th and July 27th, we have The Fifth Element. Yeah, Luc Besson's classic, maybe? But it's its 25th anniversary, which is it 25 or is it 30? I think it's actually 30. Let me see. Does it actually have upcoming releases? I could have just done that. Yeah, see, look at there. My Neighbor Totoro, July 11th, July 15th. If you're interested in that. Bad Counselors, I don't even know what that is. There you go. Fifth Element. It just says The Fifth Element. It just says Big Screen Classics. But hey, July 26th and 27th, which is kind of cool. And then Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 55th anniversary, August 2nd and August 5th. That's pretty cool. And I mean, look, there's all kinds of cool stuff. And that's another one that I wanted to bring up is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, August 28th through September 2nd. And I actually have a separate thing here for its 35th anniversary. 35 that's, dude. If you want to watch Terminator 2 in the theater, which I never got to, this is one that I'm looking forward to doing and looking forward to seeing in the theater, because I guarantee you there are things in that movie that even though I've watched that movie countless times, there are going to be things that made me go, oh my God, I never saw that before. Because that's how it was with Alien when I went and saw Alien in the theater. And there's again, a global re-release. So here's the global rollout. So you've got August 27th, you got Germany, Latin America, Czech Republic. August 28th, US, Italy, and Poland. September 2nd, France. September 3rd, Australia, New Zealand, Netherlands, Sweden, and Hungary. And September 4th, the UK. So if you're interested, there you go. Now this is saying something about this 4K and 3D presentation. Uses Studio Canal's 2017 restoration and 3D conversion. So it sounds like it's going to be in 3D, which I didn't realize. But hey, still, it's Terminator 2 in the theater. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah, let me know in chat. Are you anybody gonna go see any of these movies? I know I am. Before we get to the main event, I do want to bring this up. Heat 2 is one of those movies that is kind of like, I can't believe this is happening, honestly. Because I read the book and I'm sitting there reading the book and going, how are they going to do this? Because there are basically two different timelines going on. There's the events that happen after the movie Heat with Chris Shirless, played by, it was Val Kilmer. And then you've got something that happened way before, and it follows Al Pacino's character, Vincent Hanna, and it follows Robert De Niro's character, Neil McCauley. So, we got some pretty big announcements as far as casting goes. So, Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be playing the post-Heat Chris Shirless. That's who Leo is going to be playing, which is... That's kind of cool. And then Christian Bale is going to be playing the young Al Pacino in the... Now, here's the thing. You know what? I don't even want to say. I don't even want to say what's going to happen, because there is some tie-ins, or not tie-ins, but there's some connections between what happened in the past before the events of Heat, and then things that happened after the events of Heat. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull this off. And the thing is like, you think about some of these are iconic not only like iconic actors, but iconic roles, really, for all of them. You know, I think Val Kilmer, there's a lot of people that remember his performance from Heat, even though it wasn't a big showy performance. It was a big deal. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro is the first time they were ever on screen together in Heat. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how they pull this off. And then, of course, there's also news that Stephen Graham, who was in Adolescence, I think it's called Adolescence, the Netflix show, which I still haven't watched. But anyway, Stephen Graham is going to be playing the young Neil McCauley in the previous years in Heat. So that's going to be interesting. And then Adam Driver is going to be playing a villain. Now that none of those have been announced yet, Stephen Graham and Adam Driver, but holy crap, what a cast, right? I mean, that is an insane cast. So I'm very much looking forward to Heat 2 to see just what it's all about, you know? So we'll see. We'll see. And of course, there's also, what is it? What's her name? Indy Navarrete, who's in Obsession recently. I still haven't seen the movie. And it's not because I don't really want to see it. It's because, well, I had the movie spoiled for me. And I don't want to say what it is because I don't know where it takes place in the film, but I had something spoiled for me that made me go, okay, well, that's definitely not a movie that I need to rush out and see. And of course, at the time, I mean, who would have guessed that a $750,000 movie was going to end up making $400 million worldwide? I mean, I don't think anybody did. So if I had known that it was going to be this sort of global sensation, I probably would have gone ahead and watched it. But I still hadn't seen it. And right now it's $10 to rent it. I'm going to wait a little bit, let it come down a little bit in price. Because of course, you may not know this, but I'm trying to save up for a new computer because this computer is starting to get old and I'm ready for something new. Anyway, so I will watch Obsession eventually, but apparently Indy Navarrete is talking with Michael Mann for a part in Heat 2 and possibly looking to join the MCU in some fashion. So that'll be interesting for her career. And of course, now people are saying, oh yeah, she's going to get a Best Actress nomination. Okay, I haven't seen it yet, but please don't spoil any more. Okay, I've already had one big thing spoiled for me and I kind of want to wait to see the movie. But anyway, the main event. Sony, they put out a tweet that said, hey, here's some important updates on physical discs for new games. And if you click on that, yeah, they're basically saying that we are not going to be putting physical games out on disc anymore after January 2028. That's a big deal. Okay. There's many reasons. And again, I'm not a video game channel. So I know that there are plenty of, channels out there that talk a lot about this. Whoa, that's huge. But Rick Chaos, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But look, there's a lot of things that can be said here. There's going to be a lot of people that say, hey, I haven't bought a physical game in forever. Digital's where it's at. There's going to be people that say, I only buy physical games. I'm just going to say this again from somebody who's not, I'm a casual gamer at best. Okay. I have all the systems. I have a PS5. I have a Series X. I have a Switch 2. Yes. But I'm a casual gamer. I'm not like a hardcore dude. I have a Steam Deck. Okay. I've bought games on all the systems. But the writing's been on the wall for literal years that this was coming. How do I know this? Well, anytime that you buy a game and you put it in whatever system, whether it's a little key card, the new key cards for Switch, whether it's a Switch game that has the whole game on the cartridge, or you put in a Blu-ray from Xbox or PS5. What's the first thing that happens? Oh yeah, you have to download an update. Because these games typically are not finished when they get put out. Or there's some game-breaking bug that will destroy your whole installation or whatever. It'll destroy the gameplay or whatever. Or there's something that's like, okay, well, in the case of Tears of the Kingdom, there's this thing that allows you to duplicate all of your items, and you basically don't have to work for anything. You can just dupe all the items, and it kind of destroys the game loop. So, what do? They update it. So, think about 20, 30, 40 years in the future. What happens when all of those servers are shut down? They're no longer supporting the PS5, the Xbox, the Switch, okay? It's going to happen. If you don't, I mean, look right there. News on PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita. Yeah, they shut that down. They're shutting that down too. So that is going to happen. So now you have a disc, you have a game cartridge or whatever. You put it in your console, and either number one, all the stuff is not on there because you have to download however many gigs of game data to even play the game, or there's some game-breaking bugs in it. So at what point do we look at it and say, you know what? These were all kind of iterative from the beginning. The other news on the wall, the writing on the wall, is that every gaming studio, every movie studio doesn't want you to own anything. They want you to pay every time you play it. How do I know this? Subscription services. Or how about, around the days of DVD, there was this little thing called DivX. Does anybody remember this? DivX, and I'm not talking about the codec, the codec, the AVI codec or whatever. I'm not talking about the codec. I'm talking about the actual platform. That was, you go into a store, Circuit City, because Circuit City is the one who was selling this thing. You go into a Circuit City, you say, hey, here's a movie. Here's a movie that I want to watch. And you pay $5, $6, $8, $10, whatever it is. But then, when you put it in your brand new DivX player, you have to basically pay every time you watch it. You're renting it every time. Now, if you rent the movie, you take the movie home and you only watch it once and you say, I don't want this anymore. Well, at that point, you toss it in the trash. That's what they wanted. They wanted you to pay for every single time that you watched it. And now, because of digital, there's a way that they can do that. So every single movie studio and every single, I'm not going to say game studio because that's actually incorrect. I think there's a lot of game studios that still do it for the love of the game. There's still probably plenty of artists out there when it comes to directors, writers, all that stuff. They do it for the love of art and they do it for the love of the thing. But these things are controlled by major corporations, and major corporations don't care about that. They only care about the money. And if they can monetize it, they will. And what they want is they want you to pay a monthly fee, or they want you to pay every time you watch it. That's what they want. So the movie studios are coming this way or going that way. The gaming studios or the gaming, I guess the big major companies, they're all going that way. It's just a thing. Now, of course, there was the news a couple of weeks ago that, and it's something that I mentioned in last week's stream, was that PlayStation basically deleted a whole catalog, a whole studio's worth of movies from somewhere in Europe. I think it was the UK or basically it was Studio Canal. So if it was a Studio Canal offered movie, yeah, after a certain period, you're not going to be able to watch it anymore. Doesn't matter that you paid for it. It's because Sony lost the license. They didn't renew their license. Now, whether that's because Studio Canal wanted too much money or Sony wanted to pay less for it, whatever the concept was, that agreement is no longer valid. So now Sony will be breaking the law if they offer Studio Canal's movies to you. And what's funny is that's all in the fine print, right? That's in the agreements that we all just scroll to the bottom so we can click agree and move on with our lives. But that's what happens. That's what they want. They don't want you to own anything. Now, whether or not this sticks around, we'll see. We shall see. I did want to bring up well, I would say he's one of the, if not the most emulated, the most probably one of the most famous gaming guys, creators, and maybe soon to be movie director. But anyway, a very, very influential guy, Hideo Kojima. This is what he said. Since production is ending in 2028, this is about video games, but I grew up with physical media, so I find it really sad. Currently, I've been buying up a lot of Blu-rays, such as various movies and CDs too. The situation is different for games as they are downloaded to the hard drive. That means the game data remains on your own hardware. However, if things shift to streaming in the future, that won't be the case anymore. With streaming subscription services like Netflix or Amazon, there is a server somewhere and you essentially just have the right to turn the tap. And when you do, the data flows out. That's how movies work on these platforms, right? You don't download the data, you access it directly through a subscription. And the consequence of that is that you don't actually possess the data yourself. There are companies that own these servers and let you turn the tap for a monthly fee. However, with nations, politics, and various ways of thinking, one naturally has to consider the possibility that if there is a change, the data inside will stop being distributed. And if that happens, you won't be able to watch or play the movies and games you like. This is what is frightening. So what is happening to video games in 2028 might also happen to movies. I'd like everyone to keep that in mind. And it's true. What he's saying is absolutely, positively true. But here's the thing too. I don't know if you think about how things work. Like the way that these I guess data centers, for the lack of a better term, but basically this folder, like here's Sony's movies. Okay, like all the Spider-Man movies, Sony Pictures Classics, all those movies. They're in a folder. And all in that folder is basically a file structure. And it's got all the movies from Sony in that little folder. Okay? What you buy is basically a license to access that one file. That's it. So here's the thing. You have something like, I don't know, remember the French Connection debacle from a couple of years ago? Where the digital copy of the French Connection was basically updated across the board. No matter where you bought the French Connection digitally, you were seeing a truncated version, an edited version, because somebody didn't like the fact that there was a scene where the main character uses a racial slur that nobody likes. I mean, let's be honest, nobody likes it, but it's in the movie and it's part of his character. Gene Hackman even said, I didn't even want to say this word. But it was part of the character. And when the movie came out, well, it's kind of funny that he didn't want to say the word, but audiences actually like applauded because they were like, "Oh my God, this is real. This is like the most realistic version of this kind of character we've ever seen." And someone somewhere along the way decided, "We don't like that. So we're going to change it. We're going to edit the movie. And we're going to take that out." And it updated across every single different, whatever company that you bought it from, whether it was Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Fandango, whatever, or I guess Voodoo at the time. It's crazy. So if you wanted the original version of that movie, you had to have it on Blu-ray, which is why the Blu-ray shot up in price for a long time. I actually got it at a pretty good price. But here's the thing. I love that movie. And even though I don't love that scene, I know why it's there. I can appreciate why it's there. And that's the original version of that movie. So basically, what I'm trying to say from a movie standpoint is it's coming. It's coming fast. And what scares me about this whole thing, and this is my opinion now, what scares me about this is that, a lot of people don't own a standalone Blu-ray player, let alone a standalone 4K player. They might not even have a Blu-ray player. they might still be using their DVD player from way back, which is why DVD continues to be the number one format almost every single week when it comes to sales, because people are still buying DVD, if you can believe it. But that's just the way it is. So if you take disc players out of PlayStations, out of Xboxes, that is a lot. That is a lot of players that suddenly disappear off the market. Now, when it comes to Blu-ray players, or 4K Blu-ray players, I should say, most of the manufacturers have gone. Sony doesn't make them any. Well, Sony still makes some, but they're not honestly that great, because they freeze, they have issues. I think one of the biggest manufacturers, Oppo, one of the best players on the market, they stopped making their players. LG stopped making their players. There's still some really good ones out there, but they're not cheap. In fact, the least expensive, really good player out there is a Panasonic UB820, and I bought it for $382 a few years ago. Now it's $575. So, along with every other computer, anything with a chip in it, man, it's gotten expensive. So this is a scary time. This is going to be very, very interesting to see how things progress with this whole situation. Of course, I'm scared, because I want my physical discs. Not only I want to bring this up. This is a big, major difference. Not just the fact that the data is on your hard drive when you install the game or anything like that, but there is, in theory, okay, let's just play a little game here. So let's say there's a game cartridge or a disc that has the entire game on it. Okay? Let's say there's no updates, it's just the game, right? There is really no difference in the way that the game is played between a cartridge or a disc with a full game on it and the digital version. The only difference is, a lot of times you have to wait for Sony or whoever to say, hey, we're going to put this on sale. Thank you again, Rick Chaos, for the sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But you have to wait for PlayStation to put that on sale. But a physical disc, well, all the different retailers, sometimes they fight over how low they can go on the disc. So in a lot of cases, you can buy the game for cheaper physically than you can digitally. Sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes, for whatever reason, they say, hey, we're selling this thing for $10 or whatever. Those sales happen. This gets rid of a lot of your ability to find the best deal. And of course, there's the whole idea of, I can't loan it to a friend. If there's no physical disc, I can't give them the game cartridge or whatever. All that's true. But what I'm trying to say is, there is no difference between the game that you get off the disc, assuming the whole game is on the disc, like I said, and the digital version. With the movie, that's very, very different. Very different, because I have tested it myself. The digital version of Jaws in 4K is noticeably better off of the disc than it is from the digital, because the digital is compressed. So if you care about the quality of movies and you want the best possible quality, 4K Blu-ray is where it's at. Now, there's going to be some people that say, yeah, but most people can't tell the difference. And you're probably right. Okay? But I can tell the difference. I can see the difference. Now, in some cases, the digital copy or the digital version from a streaming, like, for example, Disney. Disney never released any of their MCU movies on 4K Blu-ray in the expanded IMAX enhanced format. But if you watch them on Disney Plus, in a lot of cases, in a lot of scenes, it opens up and it gives you a different experience than you can get on disc. And for whatever reason, I don't know what they're doing, what magic they're doing over there over at Disney. But yeah, their digital copies look really good. From Disney Plus, they look really, really good. I don't know what they're doing, but they look so much better than some of the other Well, I'm just going to say lesser quality streamers. But I can tell you that my Dune 4K Blu-ray looks and sounds better than the HBO Max version. And it's just that's the big difference. So if we move now, I'll also say this. As things progress, as things get better, broadband gets faster, all that kind of stuff. Everybody's got, 100 gig of, download, internet or whatever. Then sure, you can probably not tell a big difference between the two, between the digital copy of a movie and the 4K Blu-ray. But we're not there yet. The other thing that really bothers me about the whole thing is that usually you don't get any special, it depends on the movie, it depends on the directors, but in a lot of cases you buy a movie digitally and you don't get any special features. It's not every movie, but a lot of them. You buy the Blu-ray, well, you're going to get a bunch of extra stuff. Now some of it is, kind of crap anyway, but I'll give you an example. I'm doing this thing on my channel called the Ridley Scott Review-a-thon, where I review every single Ridley Scott movie and give you my thoughts. Well, one of the movies that I'm looking to do soon is American Gangster with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. I have the digital copy of the movie, so I was like, "Wow, I'm fine. I've got the movie, no big deal. I'll just review the movie and just say, hey, I'll watch it digitally." The problem is there are no special features on that. I look at the Blu-ray and guess what? There's a commentary from Ridley on it. So of course I had to get it. So right there's a big difference in the, what you get digitally versus what you get on the 4K Blu-ray. So not only is the quality better, the audio is better, the visual quality is better, but the actual contents of the disc are different than what you get digitally. Now, as I said, sometimes they'll give you the whole shebang. Like, for example, one of the best examples of this.
Do you still think a niche physical market will continue to exist with movies? How it has with music? Also nice book.
Thank you, Filbert. One of the examples, I will answer your question in just a second. But thank you for that. I appreciate that. One of the things about this whole situation, another example of a studio saying, you know what? Let's give it all to them. The Lord of the Rings digital copies have almost everything from the appendices. I don't know if you remember this, but in the DVD days, there was a regular edition, like this is the theatrical cut, and there's a couple of things on there. Then they did an extended version, and the extended version of the DVD had hours upon hours of special features, behind the scenes stuff, interviews, multiple commentaries. It was an extensive, beautiful thing, especially if you're into, the making of movies. It was an amazing set to get, and I got all three of them. And I still have them because they're awesome. Where are they? Oh, they're up there. You can't see them, but they're up on the top of my shelf here. I love them, and they look like kind of the classic Tolkien books. They're pretty cool. The digital copies have almost everything on there. So all the commentaries are there. Most of the special features are there. That is at least them kind of meeting you halfway when it comes to a digital copy. So like I said, this whole thing where, you don't get anything with a digital copy. That's not all the time true. For a lot of movies, it is true. But I'm just saying, hey, usually there's a difference. And a lot of times it's literally just the movie quality. It looks better, it sounds better on disc than it does digitally. But we'll see what happens. I'm not at the point now where I'm scared for movies. To answer Filbert's question, is there going to be a niche physical market for 4K Blu-rays and regular Blu-rays and DVDs? Yes, I think there's always going to be people that are going to trade them. They're going to have them in your your used shops like Half Price Books or what's a movie trading company, which is now Vintage Stock, I believe is the new company name. And of course all the other sort of regional retailers like what is it, Book Off? I don't know all of the regional, places because I have only shopped in a couple of those places as I've traveled around the country. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, yes, I think that is always going to be the case, but that the amount of people that are going to be buying those things as these players start to go bad, because that's what I'm most worried about. I don't think that there's going to be people that love movies and they want the big bad special edition, right? From Arrow, Criterion, whatever. What scares me is that I feel like there's a time limit on the number of players that are going to be available. And that's the number one thing that I'm worried about. Because once you take those disc players out of the new PlayStation or the new Xbox, which who knows, there's still supposedly a question of whether or not the new Xbox will have discs or not. I don't know. But see, like, you look at, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The movie studios literally do not care if you like the movie. They only care if it's profitable. And the reason that some of those things happen, some of these decisions get made, is because you have somebody who's not in it for the love of the game. The love of the art, whether it comes to a video game, a movie, whatever. They're not in it for that. All they want is to make the most amount of money with the least amount of effort. And having a physical arm of your company, a physical media arm of your company, is a headache to Sony. It's a headache to Microsoft. I guarantee you. They look at that and they go, okay, you look at the sales of the games. I'm looking at just numbers here. I'm trying to make a point. They look at those numbers on a spreadsheet and they say, oh, well, 70% bought it physically, or 70% bought it digitally, and 30% bought it physically. Why are we spending all this money every year to manufacture these discs, printing the artwork, putting them in cases, putting them in cellophane, shipping them all over the world? Why are we doing that when it's only 30%? And I don't know if it's 30%. I would be surprised if it's more than 20% for video games, honestly. Because look, I don't know if you know this, but I love physical media. I love my books. I love my movies. But guess what? I would say probably 80% of the movie or the games that I buy, they're digital. And why? Because I have a Steam Deck, number one. Number two, the whole game's not on the disc anyway. In 20 years, it's not even going to matter if I have a disc or not. I'm not going to be able to access that game. Now, there's a whole subset of things where, you put the eye patch over your eye, you sharpen your hook, on your hand, you jump on the internet, and you might be able to find that game out there somewhere. I'm just saying there are ways, and you know this. I don't approve of those ways in most cases, but in a situation where you want to play a video game and it doesn't exist physically for you to get anymore, it's going to happen. And I can guarantee you that there's probably somebody that is archiving everything they have. So it's just a thing. It's a thing, and it's what the companies want. And unfortunately, that's where we are in the world today. It's subscriptions are king. They don't want you to have anything physical. Crap, I can't even, there's so many programs that I have that I can't even just download that program. No, I have to sign up for a subscription to access Photoshop monthly instead of just paying for Photoshop outright and getting updates on that every year. Doesn't happen that way anymore. I have to sign up for a subscription. It's the same with even Apple's trying that. Apple's got their own, and I'm a big Apple fan. I know there's going to be some people like, why do you want Apple? Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing. Subscriptions are a thing, and they're probably never going to go away now. They introduced them. They worked. People said, oh, well, that's a value. And now we're stuck with them. So anyway, so there you go. That's the news. It only took, look, it's only 7:45 and we got through the news. And hopefully, if you're watching this on a replay, you didn't have to skip through a bunch of stuff to get to the point. So anyway, in fact, do me a favor, okay? If you are watching this on a replay and you feel so inclined, let me know how it went. Do you like that format better? Because I think it actually makes sense to do it that way. I probably should have been doing it that way for, I don't know, ever since I started. But anyway. So now we're going to get caught up in the chat. Absolutely. But yes, going back to what Filbert said, there's absolutely going to be a physical market for movies. It's just, again, what I'm more worried about is the players. That's the number one thing for me. The number one thing. Let's see here. Rosebud was the money cheat code in The Sims. See, I didn't know that. Good old Citizen Kane. Man, just awesome. It's cooling enough perfectly. Cosma, I wish it was cooling here. I think it was 98 degrees today. It was gross. When I went to physical therapy, it was like, when I got back in my car, it was like, I hate summertime. I super hate it, but. Lou said, I do not understand younger generation not wanting to physically own what they buy. But like I said, I think in a situation like they've been taught from a very young age that it's just more convenient, and so many people, I mean, look, all of us old school guys that are in here, because I mean, let's be honest, I would think the median age is probably a little higher than some of the video game channels. Probably. I mean, I'm just guessing. But we probably are, we're probably part of the older generation here. Am I not wrong? We were taught that that's the way things worked. And we were cool with that. We liked that. We liked the physicality of taking a cartridge and going ka-chunk, taking that N64 and going ka-chunk into a player and hitting that button where it snaps open. I mean, like when you hit the power button, it's a very satisfying click. It's part of the experience. For us, it's part of the experience. For them, they're just like, why would I do that? I would have to get up and change the game. Why can't I just sit here and exit one game and enter another one? So in a lot of ways, digital is just, and that's the thing with movies too. It is more convenient. And I will tell you this, and I should have mentioned it earlier, but there's a lot of movies that I own digitally that I don't have a disc for. And why? Because I don't care. I don't care about that movie very much. I don't need a physical copy of it. I'm happy with a digital copy of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Okay? Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I own it. I own it. I own a license to it. Really. But I own it digitally. I don't have a physical copy of that. Do I care? Not really. If I lost access to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I'd be kind of like, oh, well, okay. I'll just watch one of the other good ones. You know what I mean? And guess what? I have the Indiana Jones trilogy on Blu-ray. I know I should probably buy the 4K. I keep waiting for it to drop. I still kind of want to get it digital or the 4K disc, but I have them all 4K digitally, and I'm like, you know what? That's probably good enough for a movie that came out 45 years ago. 46 years ago. 45? 45 years. Yeah. I don't know, man. Raiders is the best one, though. Anyway. The Sims, bro. You don't say Batman 1. It's just called Batman. Oh, because Ninjinzu asked which. Right. And yes, thank you again, Ricky. It does work. It does work. It's all about free to play and streaming. Well, I mean, that's another thing. That's a whole nother subject when it comes to gaming, is the free to play gaming. I can't stand that whole thing. I can't stand saying, oh man, this is a really fun game to play, like waiting in the doctor's office, or, when you just got a couple of minutes to play a little game and you play through a level and you're like, that was fun, man. Let's play another one. And yet you can't, because you either have to watch an ad or you have to pay to play more. Otherwise, you have to wait till tomorrow to play the next level. And it's like, I mean, seriously, when games started doing that on mobile, I said, delete. I guess I'm not gaming on my phone then, because I don't like that. I would love to. There are certain games that I think would be really, really fun to play on on mobile or on my iPad even. Like there was a game that I loved. It was I can't remember the name of it, but I played through that whole game multiple times because it was so fun. It was almost like an asteroids type game, but there was an RPG element to it where you could upgrade your ship and get different weapons and different, oh, this will be faster and this one it's easier to control, all these things. And yeah, they took it off the App Store. So when I got a new iPad, I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not playing that anymore. Oh well. So there you go. Bet your ass Sony doesn't give you a discount on cheaper games now, even though they're going to save a ton of money screwing customers. And that's the other thing. That's the thing that I never understood about digital, about the way that they price digital versus physical. It definitely costs them more money to make a physical copy of a game, right? Why aren't we seeing that discount if you buy it digitally? They're trying to force us that way, but there's typically not a difference. Now I think Nintendo is trying that, right? Where the digital, if you buy the digital card, it's going to be $59.99, but if you buy it digitally, it's $49.99 or something. Or maybe I have it backwards. I don't know. I just don't understand why you would think that if they were in it for the experience of, hey, let's give gaming to the world kind of thing. Let's make a product that people love to play and all that stuff. If they were in it for the love of the game, that's the way they would do it. And they'd still make money. And that's why, you look at, I don't know I can't remember the name of the studio because I've only played a little bit of Hollow Knight. Like I said, casual gamer over here. But their Hollow Knight Silksong came out super cheap. Wasn't it like $20 for like this really, really good game? Wasn't it like $20? And it's like, yeah, you're actually going to sell more copies because it's so cheap. I don't know. That's a company that you look at and you go, okay, a company like that, people like that should be in control of these companies, not executives that are only looking at Excel sheets and bottom lines. You know what I mean? And sure, you want your company to be profitable. Every company wants to be profitable. But when you get to where you're making decisions that are not good for your customers, they're not good for anyone but yourself. It's just, but that's the nature of it, right? It's corporate America. It's corporate anything. Any studio, any whatever that is owned by a large company, there's a ton of those people in their executive offices that only look at the spreadsheets. They don't care about how good a movie is. They don't care about, like, hey man, I really love this kid. I think this kid really has a good idea. Let's spend the money. Let's spend a little bit of money and give this kid a chance. Let's see what the kid's got. Right? I mean, that's what freaking, what was it? What was his name? Alan Ladd Jr. When he took a chance on George Lucas and said, hey, this Star Wars thing, I don't really get it, but man, there's something about this. There's something there. Anyway.
Did I miss the executive at ZZ Eating?
8-Bit Tacos, thank you for the super chat. You didn't miss that because this isn't the channel for that. But thank you. I appreciate that. Oh. And then, yes, Rufus, they did make a second Terminator. They made a lot of Terminators. Some of them are better than others, but Terminator 2, it's a classic, man. And it wasn't, dude, you know they made more than one Alien movie. Come on. Jacob Baranowski, welcome. I don't know if I've seen you here before. But you said we should boycott Sony and PlayStation. The weird thing is that it's going to be really difficult to do that. Number one, Sony makes a lot of things. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't say I'm a frequent purchaser of Sony, but I am going to see Spider-Man Brand New Day in a few weeks. Oh, you shouldn't go. I'm going, okay, because I'm sorry, as much as I hate this decision from Sony, number one, I knew it was coming eventually. And number two, dude, I'm a Spider-Man freak, dude. I love Spider-Man so much. I can't say no. I have to go. I just have to. But I get where your thinking is, and I can see a lot of people just saying, "You know what? I'm I'm done. I'm done with PlayStation." Sony is going to be really difficult. PlayStation, I can see that. I really can. I can see people doing that. I can see people saying, "You know what? I'm not going to buy Grand Theft Auto 6 until it's on this system. Otherwise, or I'm just going to buy it on PC. I'm just going to buy it yeah, PC, and then I'm going to play it on my Stream Deck. Probably hacked, because it's probably going to play like crap for at least a while until they optimize it. Because they got, you can play Cyberpunk on the side on the Steam Deck, but man, you kind of have to bring some levels down. But I get it. I get it. I mean, this is especially like it's not just one thing. It's not just two things. It's three things they did in a row where it's like, did you just say, "Hey, we're just going to get all the bad news out of the way like in 1 week. Okay, we're going to delete a whole movie studio's worth of movies from the PlayStation store. So and basically if you bought them, oh well, sorry, we lost the license, so thanks for the money though." And then, oh yeah, we're going to stop making discs. And then, oh, let's also take away access to PS3 and PS Vita games on the play on that their version of the PlayStation Store. Yeah, let's get rid of all that too. I mean, there's a lot of things that Sony did in the last week where it's like, did, maybe maybe could have spaced them out, but I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling that Sony's going to come out with something, and it's going to make all the game guys just drool, because it's like, "Oh man, that's so cool." But it's digital only or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, look, probably Sony wants to make a handheld, right? I mean, they've been saying that for a long time, or there's been talk that there's going to be a Sony handheld, kind of like the Switch, because, guess what? The Switch kind of works and it's kind of awesome. Let's make a handheld, and guess what? No physical games. It's all digital. I don't know, man. I don't know. Dang, this guy still talks about movies? Haven't we covered it all by now? Well, Filbert, and thank you, Filbert. Thank you for your continued support. I appreciate it. Of course, anybody watching, I really appreciate you watching. And we're going to get caught up. Trust me, we're getting caught up. All except this one last story. Rufus said it's the 30-year anniversary of Hulk Hogan joining the Outsiders and starting the NWO. 30 years, wild. NWO for life. I'm not a wrestling guy. Is that a surprise to anybody that I'm not a wrestling guy? No, it's probably not. Probably not. But yeah. Rick Chaos. I have Heat. Oh, I have Heat, and I haven't seen it in years, and I can't remember a dang thing about it, but I remember liking it when I did see it eons ago at this point. Well, I'm going to tell you, you should check that out again, because that movie is... There's a lot of people that I can see not liking it, because many people will probably say, "Oh, it's slow. It's slow until you get to the bank heist thing." I love that movie. I love it so much. I think it's to me, it's like a perfect movie. It's one of those movies where I cannot think of anything that I would want to change. It's so freaking good. And I've seen it countless. I mean, I've seen it a lot. Now, I've only seen it once since I bought the 4K. But the 4K, I know there's people that don't like the 4K release of Heat, but it looks better than my DVD did. And I don't even know if I had it on Blu-ray. I think I skipped it because I'd seen Heat so many times. I'm like, I'm good. I'll wait till I want to see it again. And then I waited until the 4K came out. But it's a great movie. It's a great movie, and I'm really interested, even though I can't see myself thinking that Heat 2 is going to be as good as Heat. But it's Michael Mann. And it may be, look, I'm not going to say all of them, but some of our favorite directors are really getting up there in years, right? Scorsese, Spielberg, of course, Lucas is already retired, Michael Mann, Ridley Scott. All these guys are pushing 80 if they're not already well into their 80s. And I mean, we just had Clint Eastwood finally retire. Um, this might be his last movie. So I really want to see it, and I hope it's great. I mean, I really do, and I think it's a fantastic cast that he's got. Like I said, Christian Bale and Leo, and Stephen Graham is he's been awesome for years. I mean, a lot of people, really was like, oh, wow, he is good when they saw Adolescence. I thought that guy was solid for years, and then of course Adam Driver, who's seriously one of my favorite actors of this generation. I mean, he's way up there. So we'll see. Lou said, video game industry is in a flux. The AI market is going to make next gen games well over $1,000, on the verge of a crash. Yes. And the weird thing is that I'm sure that a lot of people saw this, but I saw it. It's one of those things where I'm like, what are they doing? It's the exact same thing that Blockbuster Hollywood is doing. And maybe they've started to learn a little bit of a lesson with Obsession and Backrooms, but it's this whole thing of, let's give it a $200 million budget and then we'll market the crap out of it and it'll make $1 billion. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, your $170 million Supergirl movie, how'd that do? Oh, which is crazy to think. And this is the thing. I am not bashing Supergirl because it's Millie Alcock and it's because of the thing she said. I'm not even bashing the movie. My whole thing is that it was fine. And a lot of people don't want to spend the kind of money that it takes to go to a theater for something that's just fine. Something that's worth maybe putting on, digitally or streaming or whatever, but not worth spending what, 15, 20 bucks a ticket per person in your family, plus drinks and popcorn and candy and hot dogs and nachos and however much people spend at the theaters, for all their stuff. And then not only that, but man, if it's just you and the wife, or hey, you and the husband, going out for a date movie, and you got to put the kids in, take them to the sitter, how much is that going to cost? There's so many things. It's a cost value proposition at this point for a lot of people. And it's completely understandable. I understand that. But I was really rooting for Supergirl. Before the movie came out, because it was based on The Woman of Tomorrow, which I loved. And then being so disappointed with the movie and disappointed from even somebody who was a fan of the story and going, wow, what did y'all do to this story? I don't get it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is the gaming industry has been doing the same thing. These crazy, crazy budgets. Oh, we spent, hundreds of millions of dollars on this live service game that is dead in a week. Like, just make games that people want to play. Stop trying to come up with all of these ideas to milk people out of their money. If you make a great game, all of that will come naturally later on down the road. Look at Minecraft. Minecraft is a great example of I would say a pretty fairly inexpensive game to start with. But then they've added all of these things to it. And then, of course, you can add skins and whatever. You add all that crap later. Don't plan everything for how you're going to nickel and dime every person to play it more than 30 minutes. Just give us a good gaming experience. I know, it's a crazy concept, but I feel like the video game companies are doing the exact same thing that Hollywood's been doing. Blow out that budget. We're spending that money. We're going to make $1 billion. Heat is GTA the movie. I mean, kind of. But see, that's the thing now. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. And this is where, it's obvious that I'm not a hardcore gamer. I've never played a Grand Theft Auto game longer than a few minutes. Like, I've never owned Grand Theft Auto 5. I've never played Vice City. I've never played any of them. Because I look at that game and I go, yeah, that's not the kind of game I want to play. I don't like being a villain. I don't like being a bad guy. I want to be a good guy. Oh, well, they're the criminals with a heart of gold. Okay, sure. But no, it's not the same. I don't like games like that. I like games where I get to be a good guy. I get to do something heroic. Not, ooh, I got one over on the man. That's not my kind of game. And it's not my kind of sensibility. Anyway, that's beside the point. does GTA actually have like a lot of story elements to it? I don't know. I look at Heat and I think that that is a drama with some action elements. That is not an action movie. That is a drama. Flat out, it's a great cop, cop thief drama with a little bit of action there. There's a lot of talking in that movie. I don't see a GTA being that. Consoles, not games. Oh, I'm sure I misspoke there. I mean, I'm like I said, what I do. This is the thing. Maybe maybe this is too much of behind the scenes. But like when I do a live stream and I've got a topic that I want to talk about, I usually only have the article because I already have in my head what I want to say. And I'm probably going to screw some things up, but for the most part, you're getting unfiltered. This is my thought. These are my thoughts on this. And I appreciate that. From a viewer standpoint, I would rather hear a real person telling their real opinion rather than reading off a script. I hope that makes sense. The drawback to that is I'm going to get some, I'm going to get some terminology wrong. I'm going to get, some little things, but hopefully my point stands. But yeah, you're probably right. I probably screwed something up and said the wrong thing. I can't wait to spend $2,000 on a PS6 and play my games via the cloud. See, that's the thing. At that point, will there even be a separate console? Or will it just be something that you access via the internet from your TV or your computer or whatever? And like Game Pass, where you can just play anywhere and you don't need a console. I mean, I don't know. And guess what? There's going to be, it's going to happen. Okay. We are headed that way. But also, there's probably going to be some really great games that play really awesome through the cloud with basically all you had to buy was the controller. And then they suck you into the subscription price. And there's going to be people that readjust their entire spending just so they can play that game every day. And it's going to happen. And it's just, unfortunately, that's where most people are going to play. And it's just the way it's going to be. I'm going to just keep playing Famicom until I turn 80 and can't use my thumbs anymore. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying they're going in their backlog, It's like, I have a backlog of 100 games, I have a crazy backlog in my Steam library, plus all the games I haven't played on PS4, PS5, that I own. I actually own them. Like, well, okay. Physical discs. I do have some discs in there that you probably have to download something. But what I'm saying is I have a pretty good backlog of games if I ever want to play them. Maybe someday I will. But anyway. Bucho said to Filbert, always doing better when one of you mofos is streaming and I'm in a good spot to catch it. So not too bad right now. How's your day been? I see this is why I like live streams. Sure, I could do a video just on my thoughts on the PlayStation thing, sure. But I enjoy the community aspect. I should have done a video on that already. But I didn't. So that's why I'm a terrible YouTuber. And I've been stuck less than 5,000 subscribers for months. It's fine. It's fine. And Rick Chaos said a few things about 5 physical Switch games and about 1,200 downloads. I mean, that's a good point. I don't know how many downloads I have, but I have probably 15 physical games, Switch, but the rest of them are digital. Most of them are digital. I mean, it's just for the Switch, to me, it even makes sense on the Switch because you don't have to, if you're going to travel, you don't have to carry a bunch of cards with you. It's literally right there and you just pick whatever you want to play, which is part of the reason why I love the Steam Deck so much. So, I mean, look, I see both sides of it. I understand if you want to buy them physically and that's what you want to do and that's important to you. I get that totally. And it's not even like, oh, that's really weird that you do that. No, I completely get it and I completely understand it because gaming to you that's part of the experience. For those people that have physical, I totally get it. But I'm also kind of like, but I like just kind of like going beep and I'm over on the other game, and I don't have to put another, I don't have to fiddle with the thing and chink, okay, and then get the other one that's okay. Which way do I do it so infrequently? I don't know which way it goes in. You know what I mean? So look, I'm part of the problem, I guess. When it comes to the physical versus digital thing on when it comes to games. But like I said, so many games that I have that I've purchased and I have physical copies of them, I have to download a bunch of crap to play the game anyway. So it's like, then and now if I want to play a different game that I have physically, it doesn't even matter because you've installed everything on. You're just basically checking to see if the disk is in the drive. That's one thing that I hate about, and again, I get it because literally if that was the way it worked, where you basically install the game and then you just take the disc out and you put it in the case and you just leave it in the case. Now you can just play the game whenever you want. If they did it that way, then everybody would just buy their game, install it, take it out, take it back to GameStop. Oh, I didn't like this game. Meanwhile, you still have it installed on your... I mean, I get why they do it. But it's still one of those things where it's like... I don't know. I have a handful of Sega Genesis cards, and the only system I have that I won't get rid of in my physical collection is my Wii because my dad bought me that. I sold off my boxed NES in my collection 2 summers ago. So I guess they're going for gamers like me now, but I'm about to go to the emulation route. And that's another thing. Emulation has gotten so good across the board, all the way up to these, Switch 1 stuff, that it's pretty awesome. The problem is to get a really, depending on where you want to stop, it can get really expensive. Like to get really good Switch emulation, you kind of have to spend some bucks, But if you're playing, say, PS2, GameCube, and that's it, and anything under that, dude, you can get a pretty good system for $100 and it'll play all of it. And it's like, okay, that's kind of awesome. So my copy of Mario Brothers 3 doesn't need an update. Justin, you're right. And that's one of the things that kind of, it all fed on each other, right? When they realized, oh my God, so you're telling me that we can do a day one update? We can get all the discs and put them out there, but then we can do a day one update that actually fixes everything? And we've got all that extra time to do the development? Shit, let's just do that. And then if anything goes wrong between here and there, we can just do an update, push the update out. And at that point, the developers started to get lazy. Now I know that not all of them, you can't paint the whole brush with the side of a barn. I messed up the analogy. But you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. There was a point where they said, okay, well, we technically have to get so much ready so we can make a disc out of it. But then all the way up until release date, we still have time to fix stuff. And we can do a day one update on day one that will fix a lot of the problems that we had before we put it on disc. And all we do is we just force the update when they put the disc in their drive. At that point, it became part of the gaming cycle, or the development cycle for a game. And that's wrong, because the whole point of having a disc is so you don't need to update it. The whole point of having physical is so that you don't have to update it. But anyway, and that's why I think the whole digital thing, like I said, it's been a long time coming. Let's see. Doing good. Just got home from jiu-jitsu, ready to settle down and watch Rob. I have the rest of the week off for vacation. Sounds good, Filbert. That's awesome. Absolutely, the writing on the wall. It's been on the wall for 2 decades, for sure, for sure. I don't want it to happen, but it's the way the industry is going. Yeah. Mario 3 sucks. Get hit with the powers, turn small as garbage. Rufus? Rick Chaos said, I was going to Best Buy over 20 years ago and buying empty cases with codes in them. I'm surprised it's taken so long, honestly. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, when that started to happen, we should have all been like, and most of us were. Most of us were like, okay, I see where it's going now. But Ironically, now, if you care about physical, PC is one of the best options with GOG, where you can make physical DRM-free backups. Absolutely. And this is something that I do want to point out, because it's something that I didn't quite understand about DRM. So my understanding was that if I own a Blu-ray, say, and I want to make basically my own digital copy of it and make it available for me so that I can watch it on my Apple TV, stream it to my Apple TV there in the living room, I technically can't do that. As long as the movie has DRM on it, I can't do that. Legally, I can't do that. Because the first thing that my program does is it takes the DRM out of it so I can take the data off of the disk. So at that point, what I'm doing is technically illegal. But there's a very, very small chance that anybody who cares about that stuff would come after me for, especially if I'm not distributing it. If it's for personal use, it's one of those things where most people see it as a pretty gray area. And the thing is I technically didn't realize that at that point is when the illegal part starts. I thought it really started with distribution, but technically it's not legal to make your own if it has DRM on it. But I still have some, but honestly, I don't usually watch those, because I guess the job that I did converting those wasn't great. It doesn't have all the stuff that I want. Like I like the fact, like I did future proof them a little bit. I did put 5.1 and stereo sound on them so that they were viewable based on what I was watching it on. If I was watching it on the Apple TV, I got 5.1. If I'm watching it on my iPad, I have stereo, because guess what? You try to watch one of those movies that I transcoded for 5.1 on my iPad, no sound. So I was like, oh, well, crap. I guess I better put 2 audio tracks on there and have the iPad or Apple TV decide which audio it wants. But then I like the fact that I can turn off subtitles, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, now they just don't look as good, because there is some compression involved, and it's just not worth it. I'd rather just either watch my digital copy, which is, even the digital copy is better than the copy that I burned or ripped or whatever you want to say. Anyway. That said, I also don't own Mario 3 for Nintendo, but I do for Famicom. I'm pretty sure I have my Mario 3 still, and I think I still have my box for Mario 3, including the manual. So that's got to be worth... It's really not worth anything to me. It just sits in a box. Because that's how I do. Well, why don't you sell it? I don't want to. I have a lot of things that I wanted to, that I could have sold at some point, but I just never did. And now I'd rather just wait for whenever. Wait, I can update Mario 3? I need to hook my Famicom up to the internet now. Cool. Anyone got an X-Band from 1986? GOG is pretty cool. I do have some GOG stuff on my Steam Deck, for sure. What gets me now is on Amazon how often you can't buy digital anymore. You have to sub to a channel. Yes. But that's the way it works. Because, and it's the thing that I dislike about the way that Amazon Prime works is that you can't just filter to, just show me what's on Amazon Prime, please. Just do that. I'm surprised there's not an app for all of the different like for Apple TV, for Roku. I'm sure there probably is for Roku. But to just be able to say, hey, play this movie. I guess technically Apple TV has that. But the problem is, if you own it, a lot of times it'll still go out to the... Like, for example, if I own a movie that I purchased digitally, but it's also available on like Tubi, it'll go out to Tubi instead of just playing the digital copy that I bought, because guess what? Apple's probably making a little bit of scratch on me watching it on Tubi. So, Hmm. Eh. Update Mario 3 involves buying Mario 3 for Nintendo. Wait, something happened and Rick Chaos retracted his message. He said that came out wrong. I'm not sure. So Duck Hunt is going to be on the servers? I mean, most likely. I won't buy a Nintendo, Rufus. I'm a Famicom guy. And hello, KP Senti, saying this 5 hours ago, which is not possible since I've only started streaming an hour and 20 minutes ago. But hello, welcome. Let's see. Sony's game sales are about 20% for physical copies and they sell way more downloads. So it makes more sense financially for them. But like I said, if there was somebody at the top, executive level, and all the executives up there at the top, and again, Sony is Sony, and then there's Sony home video type stuff, Sony, cameras and stuff, and then there's Sony PlayStation. There's all these different little subdivisions, but I'm talking about at the very top. If you had people at the top that were like, you know what? Part of our job is to give the best consumer experience possible. Do you think that's their... No, they don't care. All they care about is that their stock goes up every month. And whatever it takes in every corporate situation, whatever it takes, typically that's, well, what's our overhead like? What's the thing that we can cut the easiest? Jobs. And that's corporate America for you. They don't think, and that's the problem. They're not thinking long term. Because the way that the world works right now, the way that things happen, there's very, well, I shouldn't say there are very few companies that are in it for the long haul. They're in it for as long as they have this job, they're going to try to make as much money as possible so their bonus is higher. That's it. So they don't care that 20% of the people that buy your products buy them physically. No, that's costing them money. That's part of the bottom line. And they go, only 20%? So we're still going to make 80% of the profit. And most of those people that are buying it physically will probably just end up buying it digitally anyway, if we didn't make it available. Okay, well, get rid of physical then. Why are we even having this conversation? It's because they're not gamers. These people aren't gamers. They're looking at spreadsheets. They are business people. They are not gamers. And in the movie studios, they're not movie people. They're not people who care about the movie experience. Do you think that the stockholders of Warner Brothers give a crap about what happens to the Warner archive? Or to the DCU or any of the other Warner properties that they own? No, all they care about is, oh wait, Paramount's given us how much money for our stock? Do they care about the legacy of Warner Brothers? No, they care about their pocketbooks. And that's it. As a stockholder, and that's just the truth of the matter. Now, I'm not saying that you should, if you were a stockholder of Warner, you should only be worried about how much money you can get for your, the amount of stocks that you own, the amount of shares that you own. That should be your only concern. That's the only thing that matters. Because that's why you got into this business. And you can't really, in a way, you can't really fault those people for that. But it's just the fact that is the way the world works. And that's why, like I said, it's always been fascinating to me. Hollywood in general has always been fascinating because you've got people that are only in it for the money. And then you've got people who are only in it for the art. There's some people that do a little bit of the art and most of the money, but you know what I'm saying? These people mostly care about the art. These people mostly care about the money. Mostly. And they're coming together to make a movie that hopefully will make a lot of money. And it's fascinating. these people over here that are only about, let's see what the algorithm says about, what's our target audience and how many of these people can we expect to come see the movie? All that stuff that they're talking about, right? In their you know, their weekly, status meetings. That's all they care about. And meanwhile, over here, this guy only wants to really make a good movie. So guess what? His next piece of art, he can get financed and hopefully make another movie. That's what artists do. These people are only about the dollars and cents. And they don't care if it's good. They don't care. So anyway. Yeah, and who knows, Rick Chaos, who you said at least that's what they're claiming, the 20%. Who knows if it's real or not? There was a news item that I saw that Sony was actually inflating the digital sales of certain titles versus the physical sales for this purpose. I don't know. And then Filbert said we got to start sailing the seven seas or the seas. The fact is, I've said it many times. In fact, I wouldn't say I've come under fire because I think most of you guys understand where I'm coming from. I'm helped make an independent film, and I saw how piracy was hurting the money that was coming in to try to get the Blu-rays made and all those things. All that stuff was happening, and I saw how piracy was directly affecting these people that I care about. And not only people I care about, but the future that we all had together making the next movie. You know what I mean? So it was a direct connection. I could see the direct connection, and it made me say, okay, well, my idea that, hey, if I can afford a movie or a video game or whatever, I should just pay for it because I can afford it. And because I know that there are actual people getting hurt by my action, right? It's just like, when I had Crohn's disease, when I learned that I had Crohn's and, something that I ate directly made an impact on what happened afterward. Yeah, I changed the way that I looked at food. Same concept. I changed the way that I looked at piracy completely. But at the same time, the way that these companies work and the way that, I can't justify it myself. But I can't make judgments. And I can't tell you that, hey, this is what you should do. I believe that piracy is wrong. But I totally understand if you say, hey, this video game, I want to play it. And they have basically taken away the ability to play it. I can't even pay for it. Who am I to tell you what to do, KP Cinti said, I've seen edited versions of media get updated across the board on streams with music. It's annoying and the old version just gone unless you've downloaded it. I know. It's a situation that if it's anything artistic or anything like that, seriously, they could do the same thing. They could probably do the same thing. They kind of have done the same thing with paintings. They could do it. They could just take the painting down and then all you have is the digital version, and the digital version has a blip on it or whatever. You know what I mean? It's definitely possible. Who do they think they are? George Lucas? I know. The seas of cheese. But yeah, I hate revisionist cinema. It's one of those things that just really irritates me, but at the same time, the idea of George saying, look, I wanted this to be like this, and it really should have been that way from the beginning. Okay, I kind of get some of that stuff. I still prefer Han shooting first. I still prefer the original, what is the line? Bring my shuttle. The original line was bring my shuttle, not alert my Star Destroyer for my arrival. Get that out of here. And then, of course, I also appreciate the the silent dialogue when Vader picks up the Emperor and tosses him into the shaft versus the no, all that stuff. But again, not my movie. It's my choice to buy it or not. And I've bought it many times over because I'm a Star Wars dork and I can't help it. But anyway, Lou said, I only hope we have enough smart people on the planet to stand up and vote with their dollar. It's the only hope of change. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, too, is there's as long to me, the way that I look at it, as long as there's people that are willing to keep that in, to kind of hold on to the idea of that this is the better way, there's always going to be a market for that. And even though if Sony says, no, look, guys, look, I know you don't understand it. I hear you. I get it. I understand it, but it just doesn't make sense anymore. We are losing money hand over fist because everything has gone up. You've experienced it. We're experiencing it as a company. For us to be able to keep the lights on, we have to get rid of digital, or we have to get rid of physical media. We just have to. It's part. Look, we don't like it either, but it's part of the way that things are moving, and we have to do it. There's no way that we can do both. We can either close the doors or we can get rid of physical media. Your choice. It's probably going to say, hey, well, you should keep going, right? Even if they said that, there's still going to be companies out there that are going to be willing to try to do their best to fill that to fill that gap. I mean, I think it's going to happen. You're going to see things like limited run games and all the other ones, which I don't know, but the games that the people that do that, there's going to be situations where they're going to be those companies are going to make some money. So who knows? Who knows? Filbert said, can I buy the rights to the Game Chasers, the movie, digital, hosted, and edit out all the scenes that don't have Rob in it? The movie would be about 4 minutes long. Actually, probably 2 minutes long. I'm in it very little, but I'm in it all over the place. So there are a couple of scenes where it's like, oh, that's me. But for the most part, yeah, I'm not in it very much. My voice is in there a couple times. But yeah, that would be a very short movie. KP Senti said, on the computer side, I think LG started to slow down the Blu-ray disc drives like 6 months or a year ago. No, it was longer. They don't make Blu-ray drives anymore. Blu-ray setups. And the weird thing is like, for the longest time, PS3 was the Blu-ray player to get. When that came out, it was like, hey, you want a good Blu-ray player? Buy the PS3. It is like bar none the best one. And now their 4K players suck. I have one and it kept freezing up on discs, and I'm like, I got to get a new one. And so I got that Panasonic UB820. Minimum $575 now. Sucks. Someone was doing an investigation. It seems like the stock was super low. Well, I mean, that's possible. Like right now, sure, that's possible. But again, what we have to do is we have to assume that this is just the way it's going to be. You fight like we can change it. But you have to assume that nothing's going to change now. So now what are you going to do? Let's assume the decision's made and there's no way around it. What do you do now? What decisions are you going to make? Are you going to buy Grand Theft Auto 6? Or are you're going to say, I can't do it. Or, in the case of some of these guys that are streamers or whatever, it's like, if I don't play Grand Theft Auto 6, nobody's going to watch me. I don't make any money. Well, then of course you have to buy Grand Theft Auto 6. You have to be part of the problem. But the thing is I think there's going to be a lot of people that will not, as much as they say they want to boycott Sony and PlayStation, there's going to be games they want to play. And I'm not saying that you're a hypocrite or anything like that. What I'm saying is there's a big difference between saying something and then doing something. And you still have a year and a half, okay? You still have a year and a half before you have to give up all your Sony PlayStation games. And sure, you could just shut it off right now. But I don't see a lot of people doing that with Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out. But that's just me. As Diaz brothers say, Rob, don't be scared, homie. Exactly. Hey, while we're at it, so now I have I have a stop point right there with Rick Chaos and his super sticker. Thanks again, Rick Chaos. It's very, very nice of you. I'm gonna go ahead. Wow, Rick Chaos. Wow, you've said a lot there. I'm gonna have a lot to read. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. So blueberry pie, strawberry donut. It looks like blueberry pie has won. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. Okay. And then we're going to see who won. And it was blueberry pie. 22 votes. Blueberry pie got 64% of the votes. So, all right then. Blueberry pie it is. But now I can go back and I know exactly where I left off. It wasn't with the new computer on me. Well, Rick Chaos, I mean, you're off to a start. Yeah, I recently, I don't know if I think I said it. I sold my History of Middle Earth recently, and I'll just say that I made a little bit more than what I paid for all of them. Now, that's not counting the gas and the shipping costs and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, just the price that I paid for them, I made a little bit more. Not much. Like seriously, a small percentage more. And I'm kind of fine with that because I was able to read them. But don't you know that right now, because there's a Criterion sale going on right now, that it's burning a hole in my pocket and I really want to buy some Criterion movies, but I'm like, no, I gotta wait. Buying a new computer is more important, and I'm waiting for the new Mac Minis to come out. So I'm going to be basically trying to save as much money as I can between now and then. Would you freaking open? I hate it when that happens. The little band doesn't. Okay. Don't put it in your. Hey, no, I don't want notifications, OBS. No. Oh, I already turned it off. Okay, good. I hate notifications. I have no. I know what. Why are you trying to notify? What are you trying to notify me of, OBS? I have. I've been streaming. The FPS is fine. I haven't dropped any frames. What's the problem? What exactly do you need to notify me about? Anyway, off the nuck. This is what we do. Okay, we go off the nuck because the flavor, what you get off the nuck, is different than what you're gonna get from the vape. Okay. It's actually kind of picking up some of my smacks, and I'm sorry for that. All I know is it's a very nice blueberry. It's a good mix that I can, again, I'll tell you this. What you usually get, if you're curious, when you vape a flavor and when you nuck a flavor off the nuck, right? I need to make that a sound clip. Anyway, the difference is typically you can get an idea of what it's going to taste like in the vape, but you're also going to get some off things that don't taste good. And a lot of times that stuff off the nuck, that will go away and you're just left with all the good stuff when you vape it, because all you're getting is the aerosolized, you're getting the vaporized liquid. You're not getting all of the extra stuff, and you're not, it's different. It's just different. Okay. So we shall see. Let me go ahead and turn this on. By the way, just in case you're curious, that's the old wick job. Looking good, looking pretty. On the 28 millimeter Nightmare RTA. On the Ascent, which is a very nice. There you go, Ascent. It's a very nice setup. I like the setup, and I don't even know if this is even available anywhere anymore. I think they sold out of them, and then they just said, "Okay, that's it." which is kind of a bummer because I really would like to have gotten another one as a backup. So what you do is you put a little liquid on there on the coils, and then you make sure that everything is working correctly. You take the tank and this one is weird because I don't know if you can see that. That matches up with the size of, see yeah, yeah. It matches up and it kind of falls into place. And then you screw it on. Looks like it's crooked, but nope, it's perfect. It's perfect. And I just screwed up my airflow. Dang it. Now it's closed. Now it's all the way open. Take the top off. Now I'm just going to say this. When I was cleaning out my tanks today, I got lazy. And I put them in the ultrasonic cleaner and I didn't take the glass off. So there is a possibility that I might still be getting a little bit of flavor from the last tank just because I didn't take it apart all the way. But I was feeling lazy, I was feeling lazy and I don't want to hear it. Okay? I don't want to hear it. So anyway, tank is on. Ooh. Man, that is tight. I know. That's what she said, or he said, or whatever. They, them said. Again, I don't want to judge these days, These days, you never know. Okay. Everything's on. You can change the color of the... Anyway. The new Rob solo cut. Nerds should support their fellow nerds. Hey, Rick Chaos, I appreciate that. And there's Warehouse. Warehouse Dave 7937. Met him in Florida, I believe, right? Let's get physical. I want to get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your body talk. That's that good old Olivia Newton-John from early 80s? Is that early 80s or is that late 70s? I can't remember. But hey, yes. And that's what's funny. I talk a lot about Robert Meyer Burnett. And the reason that I talk about him, I've said this before, but the reason that I talk about him a lot is because I found him because I was going to call this show Robservations. That was going to be my channel name. And I did a search to see if anybody had taken that. Because I thought, man, that's genius. Robservations. And then I found his channel and I'm like, damn it. Somebody took my name. So I clicked on it. Okay, who is this guy? And I'm sitting there going, oh, he's really good. And he knows a lot more about movies than I do. Holy crap. Okay, this guy's like really good. Okay, so I became a fan. But yeah. Yeah, his show that he does every Sunday, lately it's been a little kind of spotty, but almost every Sunday, let's get physical media. And so anyway. We're all just material girls living in a material world. That's kind of a mixture of material girl and spirits in the material world. Right? If that's what you were going for, I like it. And yeah. Because I love the police, okay? I do. Movie High Club said, which series had the better movies, Texas Chainsaw or Nightmare on Elm Street? I'll say this. I've only seen one Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And it's because I didn't really care for it. I mean, that's one of those movies where I saw the original. I was like, oh yes, I understand why this is popular. I understand why people like it and revere it. All that stuff. Not for me. Nightmare on Elm Street was much more my speed. Even though it's kind of a slasher movie too. And of course, those got more and more ridiculous as they went on and blah, 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 blah. Right? But I've seen more Nightmare on Elm Street, so I'm by default, it has to be Nightmare on Elm Street for me. There you go. Frank White. I'm not sure what that's. I'm not sure what that's in response to. We are convenience hoes living in a convenience world. I mean, that's kind of accurate too. Okay, I'm gonna just be honest about the blueberry, the Baker's blueberry. Eh. The the way that the blueberry off the nuck, the blueberry, of course, there's these off flavors that kind of I don't taste in the vape. Those are there, but off the nuck, it's kind of got this a mixture of a fresh blueberry and a candied blueberry. So it's like a really really nice mixture where it's like it almost tastes like blueberry syrup. Like yeah, it's almost like I don't even know if they sell blueberries. Do they sell blueberries in a blueberry syrup? Like actual blueberries? Kind of like I was thinking about like the maraschino cherries. It kind of has a blueberry syrup kind of thing. So it's kind of like you got fresh blueberries but blueberry syrup too. And it's kind of tasty. Here in the vape, it's not very it's it's just not quite there. And I don't get any pie. Like it literally tastes I don't taste pie at all. Now it may just be like, hey, we're going for just the blueberry filling. Okay, you're close. Actually, I do get a something. I'll tell you this. There is a flavoring that was used a lot back in the day, and it was called pie crust. And they stopped making it. I think they stopped making the pie crust flavoring because it had some sort of element inside that was like not a great thing to have in your flavoring. Uh but I hated that flavor. I could not stand it. And I can't remember what the thing is. But I actually had some of the flavoring because there was a recipe that I saw. Oh, this recipe for a I don't know, strawberry pie or something like that. And I was like, "Ooh, I want to try that." So I bought all the flavors, and then when I put the pie crust flavoring in there, it was kind of gross. And it was like it made the whole thing gross. So I made it without the pie crust and it tasted great. So I never used that pie crust flavoring again. This kind of has a pie crusty kind of thing, but it's not the same. It's not the same flavor that used to gross me out. There is a sort of like a crust element, but I'm not really sure what it is. Honestly, it's fine. But this is another one where I kind of get the feeling that this one's going to have to sit for a bit and it's going to have to I have to maybe go through a couple of tanks before I really make my decision on it. I will say that the I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago we did the Nana Cream one. That one is excellent. The succulents, that must have been a subscription because I think for some reason on Streamlabs the subscription thing would never work. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right. That might have been somebody who just subscribed. Jedi Pants just subscribed. Well, look, I'm sorry, Jedi Pants, that it didn't show up here. If you're here, welcome. Good to see you, and I hope you stick around. And if you don't, hey, that's no big deal either, you know? But I appreciate it. I appreciate the subscription. So anyway, it's just okay, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The rest of them have been pretty good. Succulents is another one where it's kind of like, it's just fine. But all the rest of them were actually pretty good. I finished off the VIP. That one actually got better as it went along. That was the vanilla custard one. That one was like really good. I kind of want to order some more of that, but there was no sale this weekend, which kind of sucks. And then there was I don't remember what I ordered, but anyway, it's pretty good. Who had better movies, Dane Cook or Kevin James? I withdraw from choosing because I really liked Dane Cook when he first started coming on the scene as a comedian, the way that he went viral and stuff like that. I really enjoyed Dane Cook. I can't stand his movies. And I can't remember if I ever saw a Kevin James movie because I never liked Kevin James. So Your guess is as good as mine. And then Stafalk said, okay, I'm back. Well, welcome back. Good to see you. Lou said GameStop and video game stores are heck. Oh, you mean like they're effed? I don't think so. I think that, I mean, of course you can't retro, but like buying secondhand games and all that kind of stuff and being a place that does that. I just think it's kind of going to the point where it's all going to get expensive and it's going to be cost prohibitive to a lot of people. And then there are going to be people that are going to complain about that. Oh man, those prices suck. But then they're still going to be a part of that community and they're still going to be they're still going to be buying when they can. I mean, who knows what GameStop is going to do? I mean, they've already kind of pivoted to, collectibles and, all their stuff that they've been doing in their stores. I haven't actually been inside a GameStop in years. But yeah, I don't know. Download only Sony 6 with disk drive is only $500 more. Ooh, see, they could do that. And you know what? It might be worth it. It might actually be worth it. I just wish that they would have fixed their standalone 4K drive units, because like I said, I had one, and I mean, it's, in fact, oh, you can't see it. It's right behind, it's kind of behind this corner here. But everything about it I liked, except for the fact that it would freeze during playback. So I don't understand why they would release a product like that. So, and it was already way past my 30 days or whatever, because I didn't have a lot of discs when I first started. I do now, though. Jeez. Lowest possible overhead and highest possible return. Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's the way of the world today. Because people don't care about what it does to people. They don't care about the fact that they're laying off all these people. They don't literally care, because they're just numbers on a spreadsheet, right? There are very few companies out there that actually care. And I can't tell you which ones they are, but I know they exist, because there are companies that actually try to they're thinking about all the things. They're thinking about their consumers, and they're thinking about the people that got them there, which are their employees. There are very few companies, especially ones that are, I was going to start naming companies, but the companies that have been around for 50 years, 60 years, 80 years, 100 years. Those companies are full of executives, people who were hired after the people, ended up selling their company off or whatever. And now it's just full of corporate people. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's some people at Sony that will put their foot down and go, look, we've seen the response to this and we can't do this. We just can't. We have to make this part of our day, and we have to figure out a different way forward. I would love to hear that, but I just don't know if those people exist. I just don't. Because so many of the decisions that you see, especially in the last week and a half, they're not made by people who care about the consumer. They're made by people who only care about the bottom line. Which, again, I can't really fault them for, because that's what they were hired to do. I don't know. And then, of course, the stockholders, they appreciate that, because, they're trying to make us as much money as possible. So it's weird. It's just a weird situation, and it sucks, and I don't know where the way forward. If I knew the way forward, I would own one of these companies, and I would be trying not to run it into the ground. But I don't have that kind of money or desire or talent, honestly. Ryu's Realists. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. I've been buying extra 4K Blu-ray and DVD players. You can get a new DVD player for $25. Ryu's Realists. That is the number one thing that look, Criterion sales going on right now, and I have something like 25 movies in my wish list. Yes, I would love to pick some of those up and watch them. But considering I've said this before, I have a huge backlog of movies, not only the movies that all of you guys have recommended to me, and series, by the way, but tons of movies that I've purchased. I've already purchased them and have never watched them. So I'm starting to make my way through some of those. I'll go through some of them tonight. But one of the things that I want to save up for is a second 4K Blu-ray player. And I kind of want to get the Magnetar. It's going to be expensive. That's going to hurt. It's going to hurt to get it. But it's also going to be a badass player that'll hopefully last a long time. And then I can use the UB820 as a backup. That's what I would like to do. I can't afford that right now. But I'm hoping that I can save up for it. And Filbert said they claim 20 to 10% depending on the region. Also, some companies say it's like 91% digital. And again, I apologize to you gamers. I apologize because I'm one of those people. I buy mostly digital. It's just more convenient for me. And I don't see the benefit of owning the physical. I'm not a person that, to me, gaming isn't part of the experience for me is not the physical putting the thing in the system and then it loading and all that. That's not why I game. I game to play a game. And I don't care about that experience. So I'm the wrong person to be talking about that part of it. But I also, like I said, I understand that a lot of people use these as entertainment systems, right? And they have their physical media, their discs, their CDs, their movies, whatever that they own on all these disc formats. And they like the fact that their PlayStation can do all of it. Yeah. Movie High Club says going to still be, I don't know how many generations, 5, maybe 6 of PlayStation games. So maybe stores will go like GameStop soon, but others, as long as they keep up those old games and up to date, y'all have a pretty big store. I mean, I think 5 or 6 generations. You're talking what, 30 years, 40 years? We'll be lucky if Xbox decides that they're going to keep their drive-in on the, what is it, Helix or whatever it's called, Project Helix. Nintendo is the only one that I can sit there and go, okay, that seems it's part of their shtick. That's part of their thing, and it's almost part of their identity as a company is to have these little cartridges and all that stuff. So I don't know if they're going to do that. They probably want to, though. Probably do. Lou said Microsoft is a $3 trillion company. They have the FU money to say, let's put a disk drive in our next console and see what happens. They do. The problem is Microsoft as a company, or I shouldn't say that. Xbox as a brand is really faltering right now. Because I don't know if you saw the news today or Friday or whenever it was. There's a lot of layoffs. There's a lot of, but the only good thing is that it seems like their new CEO, which I can't remember her name, seems to really care about turning the ship around. And her letter that she sent out to people seemed very, very transparent and very matter of fact, which I thought was actually kind of cool. So even though they're struggling right now, they seem to be mentally in a good place. So it'll be interesting to see how they go forward. I don't know if they're just going to go, screw it, let's do it. I mean, sure they could, but will they? I don't know. It'll be interesting. Ninjinzu said that Adobe PS pissed me off. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. It's bad. And then Rick said, maybe the race of giant otters might save the day. Who knows? You know what they got planned? They're going to give you free Halloween masks, and then they're going to play the Silver Shamrock song. But instead of your brain melting and your face just disintegrating, you get brainwashed, and you basically become a sleeper blowing on it. Oh, become a sleeper. Blowing on it was something else. Loaning your friends' games and borrowing theirs. I mean, all that is part of the experience, and I get that. I understand that. And a lot of people will see that as, hey, if I don't like this game, I can trade it in and get something else. I get all that. But top 3 bad Stallone movies. Well, happy birthday, Sylvester Stallone, by the way. That's a great question because I don't I don't know if I've seen the really bad Stallone movies. Like, honestly, it's probably going to be something like, like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, which, look, I know some people might have whatever, but that movie was not great. I loved Oscar, so that can't be one of them. I would actually say that Rambo 3 might be one of the bad, top 3 bad. I'm trying to think of another Stallone movie I really disliked. Because Rambo 3 was pretty bad. It could be one of the Rocky movies, I guess. But I mean, I don't typically think that way, so that's a difficult. I know. You're like, yeah, but this is just fun, I get it, but I'm more of I usually think too positive for that kind of list. I would have to go through his entire filmography, and I'm just not going to do that. Oh, you know which one, which I think is a super underrated Stallone film that a lot of people don't like? You want to know this one? I unapologetically love this movie, and I'm really hoping for a big bad special edition of it in 4K. You ready? Assassins. I love that movie. It's not great. I understand it. Julianne Moore, Antonio Banderas, but I love that movie. I just love it. I don't know. I've always loved that movie. I don't know what to tell you, but a lot of people hate it. I know there's like the Specialist. Like I don't even know if I saw that one. But I love Assassins though. Give me Assassins in 4K, and I think it was written by the Wachowskis, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, Warehouse Dave said this stream is my physical therapy. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's very nice of you to say. Very nice of anyone to say, honestly, when it comes down to it. But Ninjutsu said, I like retro, but I like when online multiplayer came into play. I mean, I get that too. But I told you my experience with online multiplayer was Diablo 1. And I spent literal weeks on my character and said, I'm going to go online and show these guys how it's done. And then I got into town and was like, hell yeah, let's start this. And someone immediately killed me. If you don't know the rules of Diablo, in town, you're not supposed to be able to use your magic or your weapons or anything. Some guy broke the rules and killed me and took all my loot that I spent weeks getting. And I turned it off and I said, well, guess I'm not doing online anymore. It completely ruined the online experience for me. So I get it. I understand it. But man, that absolutely ruined me for the longest time. Reach Me, Stallone #1. Reach Me? I don't even know what that is. Did I miss the Sims talk? I'm offended. I didn't talk about the Sims. I don't know anything about the Sims, honestly. I would love to have my old Viewmaster and Viewmaster collection. I don't know what that is. Something NL had the big one that went on the wall. I had the flashlight one that went on the wall, and then they had the old-fashioned red, and I look forward to buying new Viewmaster reels whenever I had a chance. Oh, dude. It wasn't a Viewmaster. I don't know what it was, but I remember this vividly. It almost looked like a child's movie camera. So it had a thing, but it had a little thing on it. There were little cartridges that went in there. I'm sure by the time I get down to it, somebody's going to say, oh, it's this. But it was almost like an 8mm. It probably wasn't 8mm. I don't know what film format it was, but it was Star Wars. And I had like 3 scenes from Star Wars in it. And I used to play it forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and see. I loved that thing. That's what I want. Viewmaster, I mean, I get it. It's part of your childhood. I get that. But man, I wish I had more of those things. Pretty much anything movie related, I would want it. Gradius, oh, never mind. What the F? I don't know what that means. I'm willing to bet there's a handful of people that are running Sony that probably never played a video game in their life. They've just stacked money in their bank account over the years being successful in business ventures. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Corporate America is full of people like that. People that don't care about the business they're in. They're just good at being business people. And that's understandable. You might go for people. You might need people like that. But you don't want people like that making creative decisions or decisions on the company as a whole. I don't agree with it. You know, kids would lose their absolute rabid loving minds if they didn't have the internet. I would miss you too. That's it. And the occasional rant on Facebook. I could live without it. Yeah, it's for sure. For sure. That's the thing that always kind of, I mean, look, there are opinions on both sides. There's going to be people that say, well, how many times have you lent out a Blu-ray and then you never got it back? I've never been able to, rent out my digital copy. So my digital copy's always been there, or what, there's going, or people say, like, there was this one tweet that went kind of viral that was talking about how, yeah, there was this big news item about Warner Brothers movies, all their DVDs stopped working. Okay. It was a very minuscule number of DVDs from a certain plant during a certain time period that had disc rot. And yeah, those don't play. In fact, I own a set with some movies that don't work anymore. Sure, it happened, but that's very rare. In optimal conditions, Blu-rays and CDs and DVDs and all that stuff will last a very, very, very long time. So that's not a gotcha when it comes to the Blu-ray or the physical versus digital debate. But one of the big ones has always been, well, if your internet goes out, okay. We're not in the days where the internet goes out for days and days and days. I don't know about you, but I haven't lost internet in a long time, knock on any kind of wood that I can find, but I haven't lost internet in a long time. There's been times when, yeah, sure, it's gone out for a couple of days. Oh, big whoop. I read a little bit more of my book. I'm fine, but give the kid a shot. They said that once to a young Hideo. I'm guessing that's a spelling check. Hideous Kojima. Learn from history. Welcome, Bonobo Juice. Good to see you, sir. And Rufus said, I get to buy new physical games with books and posters and stickers all the time. It's bespoke AF, but Evercade is what everybody's looking for. Evercade is just one segment of that, I love the fact that there's like new versions of retro systems and all that stuff becoming available. I think it's cool. The TurboGrafx thing. I think that's awesome that they're doing that. Or the TurboGrafx was one, but the Neo Geo one. I think that's freaking awesome that they're doing that. And like I said, I was this close to pulling the trigger on that and going, I'm going into debt for that thing. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I need a new computer. But anyway, I love that stuff. I think it's cool. But that's still a very niche, and that's a very small. I mean, you're talking about, you have to be kind of in this age range of all the age range. You have to be in this age range for that thing to be something that you really want. And then that age range, there's only a small number of the people in that age range that would buy that. Now, yeah, there's some other, some outliers in other age ranges, but for the most part, that's a very, very small group of people. But again, you can still, like, companies can make money doing that. Saying, hey, all these people that feel like they're on the outlying, of whatever, your attitude or your love of whatever is, you're just like this small little slice. Yeah, we're gonna cater to you, and I think that's cool, but not every company can do that. All of a sudden, the internet disappeared tomorrow. There'd be civil war riots in the street worse than there is now. Yeah, I don't want to think about that. More energy for that than PDFs, unfortunately. Rick Chaos says nobody owns Spider-Man because no matter what they do in the movie, they can't change the original Spider-Man, original character from the comic books. I mean, you're right. But I still want to see that new movie. The new movie looks awesome. I'm going to see it. Sony's film license for Spider-Man does not have a set expiration date, but it will last indefinitely as long as the studio begins production on a new film every 5 years and 9 months under the contract. Failing to meet this timeline causes rights to revert to Marvel Studios for free, and they'll never do that. They'll always make something Spider-Man. Because, yeah, it'll probably be another couple of years before, well, that's not I would think that that's not including Spider-Man being included in the actual MCU movies. Like if he shows up in Avengers, I don't. I've heard that he's not in Doomsday, but he may be in Secret Wars. But you also have to think that the next Spider-Verse movie will come out before the next the next live action Spider-Man movie will come out. So, and I think the Morbius, and all that stuff counted toward that. Craven, Madam Web, all that stuff counted because that's part of the deal that they made with Marvel. You know why people are talking crap about the new Spider-Man movie is because the worst Spider-Man film is better than the next best superhero movie ever made. So yeah, you've got that to deal with. Well, I mean, look, I'm totally on the outside of most opinions when it comes to people really griping on the internet about stuff. Like somebody said, why, we could have had this, but we got this. And they're pointing at Zendaya as like, and I'm like, are you kidding? Zendaya is a great actor. She's gorgeous. Super. I mean, like, what's the complaint about? Because she's not, she doesn't look like Kirsten Dunst. She's not redheaded. I don't look. I mean, look, I understand. I kind of get it. But come on, man. Best actor for the role. And I love Zendaya. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. Zendaya's got 3 movies coming out this year. At least, right? Well, she had the drama? She's got the Odyssey, because she's in the Odyssey. I know people are pissed about that. She's in Spider-Man, and then she'll be in Dune 3. More Zendaya for me then, because I think she's awesome and cute. So, sue me. That's why we get Spider-Man villain movies all the time. It's lame. I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's what we just said. William C. Riley from Step Brothers. John C. Riley. What? Sony stands to make an absolute killing if this catches traction. I think they put a lot of thought into this. It wasn't something they just woke up one morning going, "Hey, you know what? Let's turn shit upside down. Let's take a big risk." I don't think it's big of a risk. It seems on the surface it is to them. I don't think so. I don't think it's a risk at all to them. The way they're looking at it, they can see the actual data, and they're saying, "We're not going to lose much. Screw it. Let's do it." Now, you've got a lot of people. Again, the internet being the internet, you've got a lot of people that will sit there, and I'm not saying this about anybody, any of you guys. Any of you have said let's boycott them, well, all that stuff. There's plenty of people saying let's boycott them, let's boycott them, let's boycott them. Hey, let's go on Twitter and say I'm never buying another Sony thing again, and then they turn around and do whatever they want, and that's fine. That they're going to do that. I think that's going to happen a lot. That's just going to happen a lot. So I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are, but I don't think it's a big risk, honestly. I mean, like I said, I think the way that our mindset should be is let's try to fight it. Let's see what happens. But let's bet on the fact that it's probably not going to change. And in January 2028, we ain't going to have any more physical games anymore. That's how you have to move forward. You have to move forward that way. And you got to figure out what you're going to do. Me personally, I'd rather just buy a Steam Deck and be done, or anything Steam and be done, because that's a company that, look, like them or not, they seem to really care about the customer experience, number one, and their developers. Sure, they're making money hand over fist on their Steam shop and all that stuff. They are. I'm not saying that, but they seem to actually care. And you can see it in the developers' faces when they're doing interviews about the Steam machine, that they're upset that they have to charge so much for it. I believe that, because I think the Steam Deck is one of the best purchases I've made in years. Of course, I did buy it when it was $549, but I love that thing. And I can feel the passion in the product itself, and in the way that the way that Steam works and all that stuff. It's a very consumer friendly platform. So, just saying. was in a nasty dive bar this weekend in a small town in the boonies, and the people at the bar were going crazy for SummerSlam. Yeah. And Rufus said, I don't really like wrestling either, but I did 30 years ago. I mean, look, yeah, again, hey, no judging here, but it's just not my thing. All these new console jumps looks the same. The only huge jump was PS1, N64 to the PS2. Yeah, we're definitely getting to that point where it's starting to level off, and there's not much difference between a PS4's capability and a PS5's. Of course, oh yeah, it'll do, dude, the biggest mind-blowing moment for the PS5 so far to me was Astrobot and Ratchet and Clank. Those were amazing how quickly those things loaded. It was just amazing to experience. It was like, wow, that would take a couple minutes to load on the PS4. And now we're getting it immediately. It's a gameplay element that we're just going to load a whole new scene immediately. That's awesome. But yeah. PS3, Xbox 360, hello. Isn't it almost 4 hours long? If you're talking about heat, no, it's less than 3 hours. The sound effects of the gunfight is like no other. Lou, that is one of the best ways to test your sound system. Holy crap, it's great. I've been skipping slam scenes in movies and the shows lately. Which one? The blueberry one. But look, Strawberry Donut has lost every week for weeks. And it's my last one, and I have another one ready to go. We're going to try it. Okay? We're going to try it right now. Call the police. Call the constable. I don't care. It's a Grim Green thing. Call the cops. Call the constable. Smells like strawberry. Who knew? Now, I've talked about this before. Strawberry donut or any donut flavor. The donuts sometimes that you get from some of these vape shops, they taste like Play-Doh. And it's because it's got a very yeasty kind of ugh. Some of them are not good. So this, no matter what, this right here, this, who knows? This could be terrible, but we're trying it because it's like I said, I have one ready, and it's the last one anyway. So we're gonna test the loser tonight off the Nuck. You ready? No, it's a surprising. Sorry, I hope I don't make anybody gag or anything. Look at that, by the way. Before we get going, look at how beautiful that cotton is. That nice, beautiful white cotton. Awesome. Anyway, usually like when I think of a strawberry donut, I think of, like I almost think of like either a strawberry cake donut or a regular donut dipped in like strawberry frosting or strawberry, you know what I mean? So it's this like inauthentic strawberry flavor, right? That's what I picture when I think of strawberry donut. This has a very fresh strawberry kind of thing going on. So I don't know, man. This could be really good, or it could taste like fresh booty. I don't even know. Got to turn this on first. Let's put some liquid on here. And then got the fan blasting because it's hot here in Texas, okay? Texas is hot right now. Ooh. Something I didn't get off the Nuck. I'm getting a very nice, like almost a cinnamon roll kind of thing going. Okay, this could be really interesting or it could be awful. Who knows? Screw this puppy down. Screw off the top. and then get it all in there. You see the air bubble go away. That means it's full to the top. So we're going to try it. Even though you guys didn't pick it for like a month and a half in a row, we're going to try strawberry donut because it's the last one I have. And yes, there were sales this weekend, but I couldn't find anything I really cared to spend all the money on. I don't know what this is. That is a weird, that is a strange to be called strawberry donut. This is odd. You know what? I'm going to go pee. I'm going to take this with me. I'm not going to pee on it or pee in it. I'm not a sadist, but I'm going to take this with me. I'm going to go to the restroom and I'll be right back. And I'll tell you what I think when I come back. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I mean, you can go somewhere if you want. If you got things to do, I get it. I understand. But I do have to go to the restroom. So, okay. Be right back. Well, we have 37 minutes to get caught up. Can we do it? I think we can. I think we can. Who names a Gen Z Mildred? I don't know what y'all are talking about. Y'all need to calm down, is what you need to do. Just kidding. I'm a super hardcore, passionate DC fan. I take the franchise very seriously, and I hate people effing shit up. With that being said, I could see how casuals like Supergirl, but I don't. Yeah, well, like I said, I think that movie, uh, I can't really. The fact is, I can't fault the the first time writer because we don't know what the script actually was. There's there is talk that Supergirl was edited, that there were two competing versions of the movie. One by the director, Craig Gillespie, I think that's his name, and one by the rest of the DC people. So maybe James Gunn, maybe Peter Safran, I don't know. But there were two different versions of the movie, and they ended up going with the better version. Supposedly, the better version made it to theaters. I think that honestly, I think Peter Safran and James Gunn, they dropped the ball on this, because if they had a vision of what this new DC universe was supposed to be, and Craig Gillespie went off the rails and it didn't work, they should have known that way, way, way early in the process, so they could have changed direction. Did the whole, and this happens. This is one of those things that just happens. Maybe they saw the artwork and they were like, hell yeah, man, this looks awesome. And then they got to see the footage and they were like, oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The thing is we'll never truly know what went wrong and who is to blame. But honestly, it falls to James Gunn and Peter Safran. They're the guys that are in charge. So even though, like I said, I love Woman of Tomorrow, I think that comic is brilliant. It's brilliant. But this movie just wasn't it. And like I said, the only reason that I kind of liked Supergirl is because I'm a fan of that story. But I'm like I said in my review, it's like I don't feel like the movie did the job. And it sucks because I really wanted it to be good. Basically, when I start seeing the crap that I see on the internet about some women in a movie or whatever, oh my God, I can't. And I'm like, okay, I hope that movie kicks so much ass that you have to eat crow, as they said back in the 1960s. But you know what I'm saying? It's like I wanted it to be awesome, to shut all those people up. And unfortunately, this ain't the one. It kind of sucked. It kind of wasn't great. So I can see how some people like it, but yeah. It's not GTA the movie. It's just GTA. You aren't missing out a ton. There's 0 outrageous comedy scenes. Oh, that's true. Reminder, Rob loved playing as Darth Vader, a far more evil person than anyone in GTA. Just saying, bro. When? Like, seriously, when? Because if we're talking about Battlefront, I honestly didn't like playing as the villains. Or I didn't like playing as the heroes, villains, whatever. I didn't like playing as them at all. I like playing as the Stormtroopers or the Rebels. I like playing as the normal guy, not the super powered whatever that's just going to go in and wipe everybody out. I like playing as the troopers. I get what you're saying, but I mean, it's kind of different. It's kind of different in a fantasy sort of situation than, mowing people down. Especially like I said, man, one of the ones that was really kind of like was Modern Warfare 2, the old one, where there's that scene in the airport. If you know, you know. That is a messed up scene, and I basically said, okay, I'm not playing this game anymore. I don't want to play this game anymore. That is so, I'm sorry, but that's not the kind of thing that I want to play. Everybody else, whatever, you like doing that, fine, but not me. I don't like that. That's messed up. So, that's just me. GTA 4 has the best story. The main character doesn't want to do bad shit. Horror is fine, but breaking the law isn't. Welcome to Blockbuster. Don't forget to stop and pick up some candy and popcorn on your way out. Hell yeah. We had to push that stuff, man. They took my Kingdom Hearts Cloud version that took my River City Girls. I took a bunch of my games already. It's inevitable. I mean, yeah. GeForce Now has some awesome looking great games on their cloud because you aren't using your own PC to run the game's graphics. Yeah. I mean, that's actually a good point that I haven't heard a lot of the game guys talk about, is that GeForce Now is pretty freaking awesome. Now, I've never used it because number one, I haven't had a need to play a lot of games like that. Like I'm still, like I said, I'm still stuck playing old stuff, if I play at all. As you'll see, hopefully, you'll see what I watched this week. I don't know if you remember how big Sims used to be. I'm not even sure if it's still around. We had them all religiously, and like I said, over 20 years ago, we were going to Best Buy. Yeah. I never played that game. It just wasn't for me. Personally, I like carrying my Pokedex with my game cards in it for my Switch. Hey, see? No big deal. I get it. Switch is a handheld that doubles as a console. Makes sense for the Switch. Also for me, you could take it with you and literally have thousands of games. With Switch 2, you need the micro SD Express card because you can't use normal micro SD cards on it. And 1 terabyte is $300. I got the one of the smallest ones, and I don't think I've even filled that up yet. So it's an absolute lifesaver if you have to stay at the hospital. I don't know what I would have done there for the week. I had to stay after my heart attack. Wow, Rick Chaos, I'm glad that you have recovered. But yes, absolutely. I spent $1,000 when I got my Switch 2. I have a lot of money dumped into my PC and all my other consoles. Hell yeah, jeez. Long waiting room, vacations, absolutely. The Switch is great. And the Steam Deck's great. Big sell on me is if I'm buying a 4K, throw in some good special features. See, that's the thing. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I haven't been buying as many newer movies because newer movies, and I'm talking about newer release movies, typically when you buy a movie right on release, you're not going to get really great special features. And it's just because most of the stuff that you're going to get are the kind of featurettes that they put on the internet where it's like, hey, we're talking with the actor and the director, and guess what? They loved working together. And they're not going to talk about any of the issues they had making this film. It's only after the movie's been out for 10, 15, 20, 25 years or longer that people will actually sit down and go, you know what sucked? This sucked. And they give you gold. That's the kind of stuff that I like. So I haven't been buying a lot of newer movies lately, newer release movies, unless I can find them on like a great sale or whatever. I like, the older films, and they'll delve into that kind of stuff, and I like that. Double-sided Pokedex. About them getting ruined in a sleeve-type multi-holder. I mean, that's possible, and they can get stolen. All of those things are definitely possible with physical media. Sure. But that's still a very, very small amount. Blue camera lens and green oval light thing. Man, you guys are just talking about that thing. Just kidding. Did I tell you I scored a ROG Xbox Ally X, the really expensive one, for half price? Wow, that is good. That is good. And then Rick Chaos said, okay, none of that makes sense for a disc system because most people are not going to take their PS5 on vacation with them, or maybe they will. Who knows? My wife threw a shit fit. She thought they had sold her game without the game. She didn't realize that little piece of paper was the game. Has anybody ever played Spore? Love that game. I got the special edition for the computer. I was so addicted to that. I seem to remember playing a demo or something of that. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. How the hell do all those bootleggers right on the street corners and at liquor stores get away with it? Because the cops buy them themselves from them in Rochester, so I don't know how they do it. At least they used to, maybe with the streaming. They don't do it. They used to, but they would pull right up in the parking lot of a liquor store, pop the trunk, and they had all the new albums and movies on bootleg. They were literally pulling off Jerry Springer episodes where they're sneaking in cameras and filming it, having it out the same damn day it's released in theaters. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they did that. That's crazy, though. Jerry Springer episodes. Not Jerry Seinfeld. Oh, wait. Or maybe you meant Jerry. Hey, whatever. They could turn something positive back towards their customers. Like I said, maybe buying back the downloads at half price. Or I don't know, something like every amount. Yeah, and that is definitely something that I've heard being said about that. Holy crap. I don't know if I'm going to get caught up. Look, we're going until the end, okay? Can't resell old digital games 10 years down the road. For sure. For sure. Even as a kid, I never really held on to bad games too long. If I came across a game that I had hopes for and it fell short, I traded that shit in while it was still hot and newer. And so, yeah, I got that. Sold Adventure Island, had high hopes. Hated the mechanics, just looked like lackluster. Keep it longer than maybe 4 or 5 days. I traded it while it was still hot commodity. And there's a few other games if I beat or just lost interest in. I didn't hold on to them. I traded them. We can't do that now with downloads. Absolutely. And in fact, it's the same way with, renting. I mean, for me, because I'm more of a movie guy, it's the same thing with movies. I don't know how many movies that I've purchased over the years where I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Like I bought it because it was on sale Or maybe it was just because it was something that me and April wanted to watch. It was like, screw it, let's just buy it. I mean, yeah, we could rent it for $6, but if we wanted to buy it, I mean, we might as well buy it. Let's just buy it. And we ended up buying it. It was like, Bullet Train. Look, I know there's people that love Bullet Train, but I watched Bullet Train and was like, meh. So now I've got the 4K of Bullet Train. So I don't know. We can give the physical game as a gift. That was a huge, and probably still to this day, the family's due to bond, and they're taking that away. Yes. Takes away parents' ability to spontaneously surprise their children, even out of the blue, or on a special occasion like a birthday or Christmas, just buy them a bunch of games they've been wanting. Yep. Daughter's 20, and I've been buying her cards for almost 10 years for Apple video games. I couldn't even come to an amount I've spent. The last physical games were like 3DS. The year I bought the yellow Pikachu 3DS for her, which she still has, and that handful of is sweet stuff or sweat stuff, like Minecraft and Pokemon and some other stuff, Animal Kingdom. So that handful of physical games we have are really good games, even though I don't play them. Yeah, Switch stuff, not sweet or sweat. Yeah, I get it now. I bought my Sony Blu-ray player over 15 years ago from Walmart refurbished. That thing is still working like a champ. Paid $25 for people call me crazy. Who's laughing now? I love factory refurbished electronics because I've always had good luck with them because they find what was wrong, they get them in, they fix them, they get them working better than ever. And to say that it's got used is an understatement. It's still kicking like grandma's chicken. I like that. They said to me, you bought a used Blu-ray player, with a weird look on their face, like smelled some farts or something. I said, no, refurbished from this factory itself. Get it right. And I'm sure then people probably went through like 5 or 6 different Blu-ray players, at least in 15 years. And I'm still on the same one. I got brand spanking new one in the closet waiting for this one to kick the bucket. Only $25. That's what I'm getting. That there's almost $1.50 or something a year. 10 more years, it'll be over $1. Dude, yeah. That's a no-brainer, man. I mean, okay. A great example is this camera. This camera new, I don't know how much it's going for new now. It's the Sony Alpha 6000 or A6000. I think it's the 6000. I got a killer deal on it. I got it used from Amazon. I opened that sucker up and it has a memory of how many pictures it's taken. It had taken 20 pictures. I got a freaking almost brand new camera for almost half price. That's the best deal I've ever gotten on a used piece of anything. And some things used I will buy, but I don't know, man. Like I don't even know if I would have bought a used Blu-ray player at that point. Of course, I was probably still using just my PS3 for the longest time. And then I think I got no, wait a minute. That's a DVD player. I don't know what. I think around that time is after I'd actually ended up selling the PS3, which I really regret because it was also a Super Audio CD player. I loved the fact that it was like a play everything kind of thing. But for some reason, I was just like, screw it. I'm going to sell it. And that's when we went digital for a long time. So, yeah. I need to get you the WAV file for Off the Nuck. Oh, I'm sure you put it up there. I'm gonna load it for sure, dude. I'm gonna put it on my Stream Deck, not Steam Deck, Stream Deck. I'm so far behind, but that's the way we do here. If you like Heat, you have to see Michael Mann's Thief. Great movie. I got the Arrow edition. There is a good Criterion edition of Thief, but the Arrow edition supposedly is better. It's like better quality, but it also has the alternate version of it too, which I didn't actually watch because it's a shorter, more truncated version. I was like, I'm just gonna watch the better version. This is the first time I lost the poll. Well, Rufus, you didn't lose the poll because we still got to try it. Wish I had the original headphones in the box because it would add a lot more value to it, for sure. I just freebase my vape from a spoon. I don't think you can do that. I don't know if that's legal. I don't know. I actually wish that somebody would have said, okay, it's 8:45 right now, so I could tell how far behind I am. But y'all hadn't done that in a while. I just hit I Hey, it's time for me to take my Advil for my back. So I wonder if this is one of those where it's like, no, I don't understand why. I don't understand what that said, Rick Chaos. Something about French fries. Fast food style French fries with some brown sugar and bourbon, McCormick's and pineapple teriyaki McCormick. We're about to get them crunchy. I don't know what that means. Captain Awesome No Zone, No One Zone. Sony better not stop production of Blu-rays or I riot. I mean, look, I definitely talked about it and my thoughts on it toward the beginning of the stream. Because, I've done that too many times where I'm like, hey, I've got something I want to talk about. And then I wait till 9:40 to talk about it. So I put it at the beginning. So, but I mean, look, we'll see what happens. I just thought about the scenes where the radio blows up. That's in both those movies. I turned on my phone. That's The Longest Yard. I legit sent, okay, I'm back like an hour ago. Oh, well, like I said, it's been a while. Was Mando and, no. Okay, I'm guessing like, was Mandalorian and Grogu good? Oasis Beyond. I'm not sure if you're still here, but yeah. Uh, in my opinion, it was like 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, which didn't make it was still cool to see. I mean, look, I'm a Star Wars dork, so of course there's things that I liked about it, but I could see a lot of people just kind of going, "We spent money for this? Like we could have just waited a couple months and seen it on Disney Plus." Like, I'm sorry, and I know that goes against everything that I usually say about, like, I love seeing a movie the first time in a big movie theater, but there was not a whole lot in that movie that warranted the movie experience. It felt kind of, in fact, it felt kind of lazy at times. But I'm glad I watched it, but he's reading comments I said 10 hours ago. At least he's reading them. Well, hey, I mean, that's what happens, man. Again, maybe I should just not be so damn wordy. But I mean, I like to make my point. Xbox CEO needs to lose her job and be on welfare herself. I can't believe she did that to her employees. Yeah, but at least it was a little more transparent than what we usually get. We usually get super corporate speak, and there was something about the way that she wrote that letter that made me kind of go, okay, at least your head's in the right place. You're trying to turn things around. She's like she was actually like, I hate that we have to do a lot of this stuff, but this is what we have to do to turn things around. And I kind of respect that, but I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, look, and at this point, it all kind of sucks, and it's kind of scary. I don't know what's going to happen. If Sony doesn't get their toes bit off dipping them, you will see their competitors follow suit with no life jacket. And then Oasis said, "What's the best movie you never saw?" I mean, who knows? That's the beauty of it. Is seeking out those amazing movies that, especially like older films. It's probably going to be something like, I mean, for the longest time, it was probably, I especially now knowing, was like that movie Out of the Past with Robert Mitchum. Man, that movie was good. Never even heard of it. And then I watch it and I'm like, holy crap, that was good. So I don't know. That's kind of hard question. I don't care for PS5. Physical, most games are not on discs. I mean, well, that, and there was so many non-exclusives, it's like you look at the PS5 and you go, but if you had a PC, there was no real reason to buy a PS5 unless you like sitting on the couch and console experience. But I don't know. Time to drain the game swamp. I apologize for nothing. A lot of the digital games I buy are on sale for one, not all of them, but big majority of them. Me too. I've already accepted my fate. Like if I was to wake up tomorrow and not have any of my games on my Switch anymore, or then to brick it, nothing would surprise me anymore. I would, I would absolutely go apeshit online, but that's about all I can do. Yeah. And Jedi Pants. You did. You were in here. A lot of physical media has disappeared and then returned. Limited Run or other companies could start acquiring licenses and making their own. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. That is probably at least my least favorite Sylvester Stallone movie. Only thing that's going to scare Sony is a mass exodus. Yeah, but man, there's a lot. Look, I think you know this as well as anybody. Every single one of you know this as well as anybody. There's a lot of big talkers on the internet, and not a whole lot of people will follow through. So it'll be interesting to see how many of these people that are calling for a boycott actually do. You know? A total boycott of Sony top to bottom. Nothing else will bother them. They will go forward with the plans they announced, and you will like it. I know. Yeah, Rocky 1 was great. For sure. But I'm talking about like Rocky 5. Wasn't Rocky 5 the really kind of dumb one? I can't remember. It's been too long. I like Rocky Balboa, but I think Rocky 5 is the one where I was like, this movie's kind of not great, you know? We are your overlords. Just love us. Cobra. Totally forgot about Cobra. Cobra was great, but doesn't hold up so well. I mean, Cobra's okay. Cobra with Stallone, if that's what you're talking about, hell yeah, I love that movie. That was originally supposed to be Beverly Hills Cop. I forgot about Tango and Cash. Of course, there's Demolition Man, but again, I kind of like those movies. The only one that I can say that I really didn't like was Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Antonio Banderas. Dude, I love that movie. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. Over the Top was good cheese. Over the Top. Forgot about that one. Yeah, I mean, look. Have you watched Over the Top lately? Because that's another one you guys remind me I haven't watched it in a long time. Winners take it all. Losers take the fall. Kids don't know 90s other than porn. I wonder if I'm going to get claimed for saying that. I don't know. I hear people say other words. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I don't know where I found this little tiny pink Barbie camera that you stuck a normal audio cassette tape in and you could record black and white video footage. I thought Grady might have been the game you were talking about where you upgrade your ship. No, I don't remember. I don't remember the name of the game, but it was kind of like Asteroids. But it was a lot more involved and the graphics were kind of cool. You go through the little like warps and there was all kinds of cool stuff. I like that game. And it was just an iPad game. CDs don't last 20 years. No, Siri, not you. CDs don't last 20 years. If in the sun, my discs all ruined. Gotcha. Yeah, the sun kills all. For sure. The Filbert said it. Undefeated against anything. I like calling him Hideous Kojima. You read that right, pal. Zendaya is a smoke show. I love Zendaya. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I got my Neo Geo white version bundle pre-ordered. I don't know. I don't think Zendaya is gorgeous, but that's me. I mean, look. I mean, I get it. William Hurt, John C. Reilly. It's an easy equation. Right? Boycotting, in my opinion, in modern times just almost never works. Think how many people hate Walmart or talk about how it ruins mom and pop shops left, right, and center. I mean, that's true. Walmart is still everywhere and makes buttloads. If she gets pregnant, Tom doesn't film. Yeah, it's gonna get real interesting. Take a picture of the real Supergirl and put her right next to the new Superman. Girl's what I call her because she's not my Supergirl. I mean, I get that. But dude, like I said, I really, really loved her performance in House of the Dragon. So when I heard the news, I was like, dude, set. Superman girl. Steam is private too, not beholden to shareholders. Oh, well, there you go. See, there we go. Supermana. Snitches get stitches. I'm just a man whose circumstances went beyond my control. I mean, when I think of a strawberry donut, I think of Rufus the Red. Do the polls mean nothing unsubbing? Well, I mean, like I said, I just figured tonight, since there were only 2 left, I'd let you pick the first one, and then I would just do the second one. I've done that before. It's fun. You're red like strawberries and have a fruity personality, though. Well, so there you go. I'm not peeing on strawberry donut. I'm peeing in strawberry donut. Tubi's the most underrated streaming service. Holy crap! It just updated, and I mean, I get what you're saying, but man, I hate ads. I freaking hate ads. I watch Saved by the Bell on Tubi. Here's the weird thing: if a movie that I really need to watch for whatever reason, uh, if it's on Tubi but nowhere else, I won't watch it on Tubi. I'll rent it. I'll pay so I don't have to watch the ads. Because I am just and that's the thing. I don't rent a whole lot of movies. You know, like I said, I had a big old stack of Blu-rays and 4Ks that I wanted to watch, right? Now I have all these digital movies in line, which we still need to get to. Excuse me. So, Supergirl, I'm getting in the plane. He must poop like a rabbit. I didn't poop. I peed. I remember when Darth Vader chokeslammed Andre the Giant in front of 93,000 Hulkamaniacs at the Pontiac Superdome. Did he? I don't think so. Darth Vader's a Jedi. Big difference. Pac-Man, Texas. Pac-Man is asking, did I pick up Speed Racer on 4K since it came out? Oh, yeah, I did. I got the big limited edition from the UK. I showed it off on 2 streams back? 2 streams back, I think. It was great. Great. Looks amazing. I distinctly remember way back, Rob was playing Battlefront, and he was definitely just a stormtrooper. I know. I would purposefully not pick the heroes and villains. By that, you mean missing every laser blast? Hey! Leon asked how the World Cup going. Hate to say I told you so, man. Once you went up against the top 10 team, it was over. Same for us. We'll go out to Norway or Argentina if we make it past Norway. Anytime Cheeto Man gets involved, it's bad news. See, y'all are talking World Cup, and I don't know jack about that. Desperate gameplay, dude. They were panicking. Keep flooding him with comments. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it. For real, though, he was getting pissed at the desync and rubber banding all over the place. Oh, I remember. Dude, I remember those days. Oh, the Battlefront 2 days, man. And that was back when my internet wasn't that great either. So not only did I have a substandard, I mean, it was still a not bad computer for the time, but my computer wasn't all the way, like there were things that I had to turn down, which I didn't like. But then also my internet was kind of jacked up. So like trying to stream a game that I'm trying to play online, I kept getting the rubber banding, and then I would just die over and over and over. And I was like, screw this. I hate streaming. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to skip the World Cup stuff because I don't even know what y'all are talking about. Bullet Train was decent. And Leon doesn't like Dune. Interesting. I'm just kidding, but no, Bullet Train was, I mean, it was fine. But worth buying? I don't think so. Follow football. I'm reading the stuff about the World Cup. I just don't know anything about it, so I can't comment on it. Arrogance from people who have followed football for a grand total 2 months, saying they're dominating the sport and USA will win the World Cup. Well, honestly, there are going to be people, the fair weather fans. I mean, that's obviously a thing. It's been a thing in every sport till the end, from the beginning of time to now. Beginning of time. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, it's a global sport. And Americans are like this, and they're like, American football is so amazing. Just, again, you're not going to change their mind. Just let them do their thing. Let them be ignorant and go away. Don't worry about it. Play Blu-rays puts a lot of wear on your PS3 just for the simple fact video games usually load and then this stops for a while. Where with Blu-ray it's constantly spinning. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Which is part of the reason why I wanted to buy a Sony Blu-ray player at the beginning, the 4K Blu-ray, so that it would take the pressure off the PS5 and the Series X. not realizing that the Sony 4K Blu-ray would freeze all the time. Football spam. It's okay, Leon. It's fine. Yo, you guys talk. And if I don't want to read it, I'll just skip it. There was a look, in case you're watching the replay, there was a lot of World Cup talk. And I don't know jack about it, so I just let him talk. It's fun. I have a PlayStation 3 with like 8 games. I've never played it. It was gifted to me from my cousin. Well, I had the fat one, and the fat one it was kind of like a play everything kind of machine. It was amazing. And again, super audio CDs, which meant 5.1 CDs, which is awesome. I really enjoyed it. But, my favorite flavor of vape is corn dog. They actually, like I've said it before, but they made a pizza flavor and a ravioli flavor. And I saw a live stream where they tried them, and they said they were absolutely, one guy almost threw up because it was so disgusting. I just decided I wasn't going to do that. But I kept saying, I'm not saying that, Filbert, but that's pretty funny. Justin, my favorite is dog. That's definitely Billy style kind of. Don't you hate it when you hit your vape and it's just full of. Anyway, I'd rather Rob be wordy than a dirty birdie. I'm not sure what that means, but I think that's a compliment. Sony stopping physical games isn't really the issue. DRM is the issue. Even if physical disc, Sony can just force a firmware update, make the game disc a coaster, or turn the servers off. You're absolutely right. Best movie you never saw is clearly Fast and Furious 2 through 28. Filbert, your dog comment just made me spit yogurt all over my kitchen table. Are you sure it was yogurt? Anyway. Babadook, you know what? I haven't seen that, and I've heard that's really good. Yes. That sounds like a strange euphemism. Rocky 5 is great. Rocky Balboa is the worst one. See, I don't, you could be right. I don't remember. I thought it was the other way around. America's grid is about to go down. What? Lou said, old middle school debate. Would you rather be in the jungle versus a predator or spaceship with a xenomorph? You have a weapon with both situations. Dude, that's tough. Jungle versus a predator or spaceship with a xenomorph? I don't know. I'd probably say this. Am I smart like the main characters, or am I just a dude? Like, doesn't know what's going on? Because I would definitely be dead either way. If I didn't know what was going on. Like, if I knew the lore and all that kind of stuff, I would probably say that a predator might be my better bet. Because at least there's a way to hide. But, I mean, with an alien, man, they're a nonstop killing machine. You know what I mean? So, just to use an ad blocker for Tubi, not on my Apple TV. How do I do that? I wrote the original script for The Longest Yard, but it was about a turd. They hired someone else and did some rewrites. See, Leon with the Dune stuff, you know? And that's the thing, man. If you watch it on a phone or a computer or whatever, you're not going to have the same impact. If you had watched it with me, with my big crazy surround sound system and my 77-inch TV, you might have had a different experience. And you might have seen how amazing that movie was. But I get it. I understand. Paradise Alley. Leon finished Pragmata yesterday. Decent game. Wait, did Bonobo Juice contradict me on my Battlefront claims? Bro, I thought we were bros, bro. The Facehugger, most underrated horror movie monster. It's pretty cool. Oh, I didn't move that back. I was moving some Blu-rays, so I was using the top, and it's moved all the way over to the corner. It's covering up my Blade Runner. But oh well. The Huggers scare me more than the aliens for some reason. I mean, all of it's pretty. It's pretty scary. You're yourself now. Hey, look at that. 10 o'clock, and I've caught up. But really quick, we're going to go over what I watched this week. maybe give you some ideas or tell you something not to watch. So I'm kind of weird. When I make lists of things that I want to watch, what I do is I put them in order by lowest rating. So if a movie's not good, if I have a bunch of movies that I want to watch and one of them is like, I put them in order from the least review, like the worst movie to the best movie. And that way I always have something to look forward to, because there would be a chance that I'd go, I don't want to watch that. No, I'm watching them in order from worst to best. So I have 100, it's 100 and something movies digitally. So I bought there for a while. April was just buying movies, and she would buy sets of movies for her family, whatever. So there's a bunch of movies in there that I don't care to watch, but they're in my list and I haven't seen them, so I need to watch them. Okay? You're not going to believe. Just take one guess what the first movie that I watched was on this. Just please take a guess. Please take a guess. Bonobo Juice is now backing off on what he said earlier about me not liking playing as Darth Vader. And Bucho bought it. So look at that. So yeah, there's a bunch of digital, all those digital sales, man, you know.
Somebody's got to buy them.
I had to put Dave in there. Come on. I had to put Dave in there once. And look, there's Bucho too. Anyway, sorry. Okay, y'all aren't guessing fast enough, so I'm just gonna tell you, the first movie I watched, the worst rated movie in the list of movies that are in my digital library that I haven't seen. And boy, was this movie a piece of crap. I'm sorry, but this movie sucks. This movie was bad, and I didn't like it. There were some shots that were kind of neat, but for the most part, this was a bad movie. I'm sorry. This was a bad movie. Stealth with Josh Lucas, Jessica Biel, Jamie Foxx. This movie was terrible. And again, this was part of one of those, I think it was 100 movies for $100. So $1 a movie? I mean, come on. That movie must have gone under the radar for me. Yeah, just look at the top. From the director of The Fast and the Furious and Triple X. Oh no, I get it. I get it. I haven't watched that since release. I remember renting it and watching it in high school. Director, yeah, it just bad. Yes, terrible. So I'm going to forget that I ever saw that. The next movie that I watched. Has anybody even heard of this movie? First off, look at this poster and go, holy crap. I said movies. If it was 100 boobies, I don't think my wife would have bought it. I mean, maybe. You know, who knows? Probably not, though. Look at how many words are on this poster. Once they declare war on each other, watch out. You could die laughing. Donald's been fired by his boss's parrot, but he'll survive. He's been robbed with his pants down, but he'll survive. He's been shot at while ordering a cheese Danish, but he'll survive. And now he's armed himself and become a self-made soldier, but he'll survive, even if it kills him. Biodome is not on there, on the list. Stealth sucks. He was drunk when he directed it. Interesting concept idea, Stealth. I mean, it was an interesting idea. Very badly executed, though, okay? People were getting sick and felt like they had vertigo or something doing that movie in the theater. Really? I hated that movie. It was so bad. Now, this one, Robin Williams and Walter Matthau from like 1983. This movie, Walter is great. Love the grumpy old man movies. Yes. And then Leon said, I'd never heard of this. Yeah, it's because it's awful. Man, this movie's bad. I was like, when is this movie going to be over? This movie was not. Every now and then there would be something that Robin Williams would say under his breath. You could tell like it was a line that he added that was kind of funny. But honestly, this is my least favorite. not only is it my least favorite Robin Williams movie I've ever seen, but this is my least favorite era of Robin Williams. I cannot stand the it's the and he's just he's way too he's on whatever he's on. Okay? I'm not going to mention all the stuff that he might be on because, you know, YouTube. But this movie is bad. And in a way, I'm kind of glad. Jerry Reed. If you look up Jerry Reed, you're going to go, wait a minute, that guy? Yeah, he's the villain. Terrible movie. Terrible, terrible movie. I remember wanting to go see it, then hearing that, and the fact that it sucked. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually a really good Robin Williams. Rob can do. I'm sorry, but no. Now, here's an issue. The next movie on the list was the third in a series of movies that I'd already seen the first one. So, I had to watch the second one, then the third one, because I was like, I'm not just going to watch the third one. So I watched the second one. Not bad. Actually, not too bad. The weird thing about this one was that it was okay. I don't spoilers? Are spoilers okay for an old movie, you know, from the 90s? I'll just say that the way that they decided to tell this story was interesting, and I kind of enjoyed the movie. The last 20 minutes of this movie are absolutely freaking bonkers, and had no idea that this is the movie that Patricia Arquette was watching in True Romance. I had no idea. So getting to see those scenes for real, like the actual scene, instead of seeing it on a movie on a TV screen, it was cool to see this. So I enjoyed the movie overall. But then I had to watch A Better Tomorrow 3, and A Better Tomorrow 3 was, oh my God, not good. Like, there were parts of it that I liked, but for the most part, this was another one where it was like, when is this movie going to end? When? Please. Please when? Please when? Don't know. So, like I said, there were parts I liked, but for the most part, no. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to watch some movies that Leon is, and these are movies that were on my list for the year and then didn't get around to going to see them in the theater. Some of them. The first one being 28 years later, The Bone Temple. This was on Netflix here in the United States. So I got to watch this one for free. And I got to say, pretty good movie. I like this a lot. I don't know if I like it as much or more than the 28 years later that I saw last year. I really like that one. And even the way that the movie ended was like, even like people were like, oh man, it took this weird turn at the end. And I'm like, I kind of dug it. I don't know. And I dug this movie too. So, and Ray Fiennes, man, dude. Yeah, that whole ending sequence on A Better Tomorrow 2 is awesome. It really was. It was amazing. It was great. But yeah, this was really good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I'm actually curious to see what the next one will be if they end up doing it. I hope they end up doing the final in this trilogy of movies. This one though, I mean, there was some pretty graphic stuff. Pretty graphic stuff. And then I caught up on some shows. I watched the penultimate episode of season 1 of Star City. Again, if you haven't seen For All Mankind, you probably won't want to watch Star City. But the cool thing about Star City is it's more in a like a spy thriller and less about the space program. I mean, it is about the space program in Russia, but it's more of a spy kind of movie or show, and I really dig it. I love this show, and I'm really excited for the final episode this Friday. I'm very excited for it. So Star City, look, I'm telling you, if you haven't got Apple TV Plus, I understand, but there's some really great shows on it. Really great. Including Silo. Now, Justin, if you're here, I'm not going into spoilers, don't worry. But I don't know about Silo this season. They started in a very different way than I thought. I'm like I said, no spoilers. In a different way than I thought. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. But so far, season one or the first whatever, I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's fine, but I don't know. And then I watched another movie. No Other Choice. Now, this movie is one of those movies where I had heard a lot of great things about it, and then I heard a lot of people saying, "Man, this needed to be up, for Best Picture and all that stuff." This one was a great that had great moments. The problem with this movie is the pacing, because this movie felt 4 hours long to me. I mean, it just felt really long. Overall, I would say that, yeah, I'd say if you have, because this is on Hulu, if you have Hulu, I would say it's worth a shot. But there, like I said, there are moments that I really liked, and but I don't know. I don't know. And there was actually, I actually had some laugh out loud moments with No Other Choice. So, by the way, Leon, I know I haven't caught up. Colony. I'm gonna see if I can get to the theater to watch that one. By the director of Train to Busan. I think I need to watch that one. No Other Choice. I like I said, I liked it. I think it's worth watching if you're into, international cinema and all that kind of stuff. Colony. Not colon E. Colony. Yeah. Go watch the trailer for that. Because holy crap. And then I got caught up with the third episode of Hot D. Hot D. I love this show. I know there's people that don't care for it and they think it's too slow or whatever. I love this show. I think this show's great. I thought the last 2 episodes were fantastic. Watch the trailer for Hope. And maybe. I don't even know what Walled In is. But Hot D, man, I love it. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. Apparently, and this is something I didn't realize, that this is season 3, right? Season 4 is the final season. So I like the fact that they know where they're going. And I'm actually really enjoying this ride. So I don't know. And then another movie that Leon had said, you have to watch that. And I'm like, I've been wanting to see it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Finally saw Send Help. Yeah, it's good. Walden or walked in? Walden? Walked in? Walden? Walked in. Walden. Got it. Walden. Not Walden, like Walden Books. Or, Henry David Thoreau. Walled. Like walls. Like I was in, like, there's 4 walls. And I'm walled in. Gotcha. But Send Help. Rachel McAdams. Dylan O'Brien. I like this one. I liked it. I like the way that the protagonist antagonist kept changing. I like that. And it was fun. It was a fun movie. But this is one of those movies that I go, yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time, and I'll never watch it again. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, this is one of those movies that for me, it's one of those that once you know everything, you know how it's going to end, it's not something that's super rewatchable to me. I did enjoy the ride. I thought it was fun. So, yeah. Send Help. And then finally, and this was just on like a random thing. I've only watched a few episodes. But holy crap, man, I'm having a good time with the show. And I don't know if it's like a boomer show, but I'm really having a good time so far with Widow's Bay on Apple TV Plus. It's kind of like if you took a Stephen King novel and then mix it with just a touch of Twin Peaks, where things are weird, but it's got a more Stephen King kind of vibe to it. Like it definitely feels Stephen King in the way that it's based on an island, it's in the Northeast, and it's got this very, you know, fishermen, and then the fog, and then all these people, and they're just look, I've enjoyed it so far. I don't know where it's going. I've heard that it's good, so I'm gonna keep watching it. So there you go. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. So anyway, that's it. That's all the stuff that I saw and watched and things. So there you go. Oh, no, 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 sorry. I'm not sure what that was. Oh, oh, oh. Uh let's see. We're going back to the survivors thing. That's actually a really good Robin Williams. Rob can do. Robin Williams and Jack. I mean, that was pretty bad too. Um Robin Williams Popeyes is underrated. You know what, Lou? That's one that I kind of want to revisit because it's Robert Altman, right? Directed. I saw that as a kid and hated it, but I've never gotten a chance to rewatch it. So I'm kind of interested to see that. World According to Garp, Rick Chaos. I've never seen that. I've actually heard that's a really good movie. I think Robin Williams got way better in his dark phase, 1 Hour Photo, Insomnia, Final Cut. I agree with that. Even though I've never seen any of those. There's a new Korean movie coming out next week called Hope. Looks decent. Okay. All right. Hey, I have all those A Better Tomorrow movies. Really enjoyed Bone Temple. I get why some didn't, but I dug it. Yeah. I watched The Sheep Detectives because Rob told me to. It was pretty good. I was wrong. I just enjoy that movie. I watched it again. I did. I mean, like it. I didn't put it in my list because I just did a video on it. But I watched it again and was like, dude, this movie is just good. It's just fun. Silo season 1 was great. Second season was bad. Not sure I want to watch third. And then disappointed with No Other Choice got built up too much. I get that. I understand that. I think it got built up too much to me too. Because I just heard it was like, oh man, it's so genius. And it's like, I mean, I like it. But honestly, I kind of felt that way with Parasite a little bit. Like I like Parasite, but it was kind of built up a lot to me. And then I was kind of like, okay. And then seeing how much stuff was done practically and digitally, and the way that they did stuff was kind of neat. But Russia, I hardly know her. I don't even know that. I'm guessing I'm talking about Star City. It's good, man. Star City's good. Hot D, man. I love it. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I got a couple of guesses. House of the Dragon. And Send Help, good time, worth one watch. Send Help just felt like a classic movie. Fun tropes, good mix-ups. Didn't feel like a checkbox movie. That was the thing that it was probably like 20, 30 minutes from the end. And I said, you know what? This is the best thing. Because I watched it alone. April wouldn't watch it. She saw a bit of it and she was like, nope. Too violent and gross for her. She didn't dig that. But about 20, 30 minutes from the end, and I'm like, this is the best thing about this movie is I still don't know where this is going. I like that. I like that. That's a really fun movie, And Widow's Bay, yeah, it's a good time. Widow's Bay was my favorite show of the year. I've sent you trailers, have you? I don't remember. I saw Parasite before the hype and enjoyed it, but then we got Mickey 17. Oh my God, Mickey 17 was... You want to talk about... in fact, I said it in my video, I think. It was my biggest disappointment of the year. I was so excited for that movie. But I've heard that Robert Pattinson is insane in the Odyssey, because the first critics scores have come out, or little like mini reviews have come out. I'm so pumped for the Odyssey, you don't even know. But there's this and that in it, and I'm like, I don't care. It's Christopher Nolan. It's a fantasy. It's fiction. I want to see what Christopher Nolan's going to bring to this. I think the cast is, I mean, there are a couple of people where I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But guess what? I'm, instead of making a judgment before I see the movie, I'm going to see the movie first. I mean, who knew? And I don't have a bunch of, I don't need to hit my quota of hate videos on my channel. So I'm just going to, watch the movie itself and make my determination of what the movie is based on what the movie is, instead of what I think the movie might be. Who knew? Who knew? Oh my God. Look, again, I'm not trying to make any judgment on anybody that likes watching like hate videos and that kind of stuff, but that's not me. That's just, I like to, talk about things that I like. I don't like ripping on stuff. And it's probably why the algorithm hates me. And I just bit my tongue. But it's probably why the algorithm hates me, is because I won't play their game, because I'm not doing that. So there you go. I spit on your grave, gator bait. I'm not sure. Wait, game over, pulse. What are you saying, Rick Chaos? It's the first movie that made me root for the monsters. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Rick Chaos. You've said a lot of those are all movies, I believe. I don't know about Game Over, but Spit on Grave, Gator Bait, Pulse, and I don't know what Mama Monsters is. I'm not a big horror movie guy for the most part. It has to be something different, and that's part of the reason why. Again, it's part of the reason. And I haven't seen it, so don't spoil me. But that's part of the reason why I skipped seeing Obsession in the theater the first couple of weeks, is because I heard something that I assume is a pretty big spoiler of the movie. And it was one of those things that made me go, not for me. Backrooms, I was already invested in. So I had already planned to see that. Obsession came out of nowhere and surprised everybody. So I'm excited to finally see Obsession. But I'm not paying $10 to see it, or any more than that, because I got a budget, man. I'm trying to make a computer. Not make a computer, buy a computer. Because I'm a Mac guy. I know. I just texted you them, Mr. I'm not on social media no more, Mr. Meh. Oh, well, okay then. Thank you. I will watch these, when it's time. And off the nuck dot wave. Hell yeah, man. We're going to get an off the nuck freaking hell yeah. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. I should have done it a long time ago, but I didn't. So there you go. It has women in it, so I hate it. Yeah, I know. But we've talked about that. Hey, we're on the same page here. But thank you, Leon. I will watch this. I'm just not interested in the movie, same as Oppenheimer. Just not movies I'm interested in watching. But I also walked out of Interstellar. Now, here's the thing. I'm one of those. Granted, I need to see both of these movies again. Arrival, Denis Villeneuve's Arrival, Interstellar, were both built up to me so much that when I finally watched them, I was like, okay. All right. Like, fine, but nothing special to me. I need to watch them again, though, because April was watching them with me. And I think that her not enjoying it made me not enjoy it. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to watch it myself and just see. 300, The Rise of an Empire. Absolutely love Ava Green. She's so hot in Dark Shadows. And 300. Hey, you know what? There's a guy in chat that worked on Dark Shadows and got to see. I'm just gonna say he saw Ava Green. Those are all movies. Well, there you go. Yeah, that guy is cool. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. Never mind. But yeah, Ava Green, man. Wow. It's definitely different. A bunch of Chinese, I forgot, students capture a monster and they torture it because there's something. Actually, you actually feel sad for the monsters. It's got such a crazy, awesome ending. I 100% recommend. Oh, I'm thinking of another guy. Well, look, guys, we're all caught up. Her boobies are nice up close, though. See? There you go. Yeah, Ava Green is something special. And I'm canceled. It's okay, Leon. But hey, you know what it's time for? It's time for the Discord Hangout. And only 25 minutes late. So I'm opening it up now. Whether it'll open tonight, I don't know. And then Filbert asked if he can see. Maybe he'll let you do that. Again, I don't know if I should say this stuff out loud. I don't know. I might YouTube be like, no, you can't do that. You can't say those things. Anyway, I am jumping in right now. And my camera. Whoa, Nijitsu. Hello.
What up?
But hey, I hope you guys had a had a fun time on the stream. I had a good time. And yeah. We'll Baba Duke, you got to see that if you've been wanting to. It's awesome. He makes Macaulay Culkin look like, oh, okay. Well, I will check it out.
I haven't seen the stream.
Whoa.
I've been a little busy.
All right. I'm
Haven't
jumping
seen
over
the
in the
stream.
Discord. If you want to come in the Discord, hey, come hang out with us.
Hello.
If you don't for some reason have a Discord invite, guess what? There were a bunch of scammers. So I turned off the perpetual invite. So if you want one, email me. Okay? Email me. And you know, it's the name of the show, the name of the channel at Gmail. Okay? Email me. Okay? Email me. I'll get you an invite. We'll get you in here and it's fun to hang out and all that stuff. And we'll chat about all kinds of crap. But anyway, hey, y'all have a good one. See you next time. Bye.